Oakland follows with a 6 and 4 mark. Seattle and Kansas City with 4 and 6 marks. Teeing the ball up is Mike Wood, and will be set to go from Riverfront Stadium. The Bengals, somewhat disappointing thus far this year. They are 2-8 on the 1975 campaign. They expect it to be better. They dropped their first 6 contests of the year. Things have gotten a little better since then, winning their last 2 of 4. Back deep to receive, San Diego State's former running back, David Deacon Turner. And we are underway. A low kick. Be taken on the far right side by Jim Browner. He's across the 20-yard line, the 25, the 30. He's got running room, and he's finally swarmed under on the far side of the field by Keith King. So the Cincinnati Bengals with good field position early. They'll start from their own 33-yard line. There you see it. Cincinnati's offensive backfield at quarterback, Kenny Anderson, the 6th-rated passer in the AFC. His running backs, the Ohio State connection, Archie Griffin and Pete Johnson. The wide receivers will be Isaac Curtis. Don Bass, the tight end, is Dan Ross. Kenny Anderson over his center. They'll start from the 33. Kenny dropped the pass. First play from scrimmage. He unloads, and he's got it. Number 84 is Don Bass. He's across the 40-yard line to the 41. Here's Cincinnati's offensive line for you. At left tackle, number 77, Mike Wilson. At left guard, number 74, Glenn Bujnock. At center is Blair Bush. The right guard, Dave Lapham. The right tackle, the 9-year veteran, number 76, Vernon Holland. It is 2nd and 1. The ball at the 42. From the I formation. Anderson shouts the signals. The give is to Archie Griffin across the 45. A good hole across the midfield stripe into the San Diego Charger territory at the 49. Leroy Jones wrestles him down. A good pickup.
Here's the defensive line for San Diego. A big line and a good line. Jones, Young, Johnson, and Fred Dean. Excellent pass rushers. The linebackers we talked about at the beginning, the 2 outside guys, Ray Preston, Woodrow Lowe, and the guy, Bob Horn, 55 in the middle, has had a super year for the Chargers.
No question about it. Horn with 71 tackles so far this year. It is 1st and 10. Cincinnati operating from the Charger 48. Anderson, the give on the sweep to Griffin. He's at the 45. He's got running room. The 30, the 25 before finally being knocked out of bounds by Glenn Edwards. Archie Griffin with all the room in the world on the far side, Paul.
This is an excellent sweep. The blocking is super. They get the linebacker cut to the inside. They kick the outside linebacker low out. And Glenn Edwards saves a touchdown.
A 33-yard run for Archie Griffin.
Here it is again. You look at, they cut the linebacker, Preston down. Horn, the middle linebacker, never does get to Griffin on the outside. And if it wasn't for Edwards right there, there's a touchdown.
The Bengals, on their first possession, have the ball at the San Diego 15-yard line. From the full house backfield. In motion, Isaac Curtis. Back to passes, Kenny Anderson. He dumps it off to Pete Johnson. He's to the 10-yard line, to the 5 before being dropped by number 29, Mike Williams.
Stoney, this is the thing that we talked about, the backs coming out of the backfield. Now, when you look at it here and you see Pete Johnson, there's nobody on him. The middle linebacker, Horn, is the man that's supposed to be covering him. Watch right here. Horn is way to the left-hand side of your screen. Here he comes into the picture. He's not on the back, and he really doesn't get to him. 29, Mike Williams is the man that makes the tackle.
So the Cincinnati Bengals threatening early here. It is 1st and goal at the 4. The Bengals now out of the full house backfield. Anderson, the first man through is Pete Johnson. He's to the 2-yard line before he is swarmed under and pushed back. San Diego goal line defense hammers Pete Johnson to the playing field.
All right, here's San Diego's defensive backs, Buchanan, Williams, Fuller, and Edwards. And Edwards last week had a super game against Kansas City. 2 fumble recoveries and 1 interception at the end of the game.
Checking into the ball game now for the Cincinnati Bengals is number 40, Charles Alexander, and David Deacon Turner. Alexander splits to the far side. It is 2nd and goal from the 2. Anderson, the pitch is to Deacon Turner. He's to the 1.
You know, Stoney, I don't like this selection of plays right now. That toss to the outside, when you only have to go 2 yards to the end zone, why risk this toss? There are a lot of things that can happen. They played the play extremely well. Mike Fuller, number 42, came up, slowed the play down, and they made the stop at the 1. But if you got that short distance, go straight ahead with it.
Well, Pete Johnson did this quite effectively his whole career long at Ohio State, and he's doing it here in Cincinnati. It is now 3rd and goal. The ball inside the 1. Anderson, the give to Johnson, and again he stopped. Stopped shy of the goal line by the left side linebacker, who is Ray Preston. And it is 4th and goal, and the Cincinnati fans are calling go for it.
And they're going to go for it. The kicker is not coming into the game. They brought a play in from the bench. Mark Donahue, the right guard. They take out Dave Lapham. He brings the play in, and I guarantee you they're going right at him again.
All right. The crowd here comes to its feet. The Bengals out of the full house backfield. Anderson waits. The give is to Johnson, and he's in. The Cincinnati Bengals draw first blood here at Riverfront Stadium. They lead this ball game 7-0.
This is just a straight handoff right up the middle. You give it to the bull, let him go in. Right there, number 51, Woody Lowe just hit him, tried to hit him high and misses him. And watch, you'll see Pete Johnson go right underneath Lowe. Right here.
Pete Johnson, 259 pounds. He stands 6 foot. He's built like a fire plug, and he can do it all when it comes to those short yardage situations, Paul.
We've got an injured Bengal on the field.
I'll try to get a number for you in just a moment. It is a beautiful afternoon in Cincinnati. It is a little bit chilly. The temperature, as we've mentioned, 35 degrees. The injured Bengal is the center, Blair Bush. And we'll be back for the extra point try right after this. The man being taken off the field is number 58, Blair Bush, the second-year man out of Washington. And that will necessitate using a guard at center now. The Bengals lead this game 6-0. The extra point attempt will be made by Chris Barr. Kreider puts it down. Barr places it. And it is good. Well, the Cincinnati Bengals are on the board the first time they have the football. It is 7-0 Cincinnati.
You can understand why on 4th down Cincinnati goes for the touchdown. Of course, he only had a half a yard to go, but when you're 2-8 and you're completely out of the running, it's time to gamble. Take a look at some of your people.
No question about it, Paul. We'll take another look at the touchdown. It was 4th and less than 1. Anderson gave it to the man he gives it to all year long in these situations. That's Pete Anderson out of Ohio State. He went right up the middle, right underneath 2 Chargers, Ray Preston, for the score. 8 plays, 67 yards. They used up about 4.5 minutes. They sold more than 50,000 tickets for this game today. However, I have reason to believe, Paul McGuire, several stayed home in the confines of their warm homes.
And I don't blame them.
Teeing it up is Chris Barr. Former Penn State man. His brother Matt Barr also went to Penn State. Tears it up on the near side at the 35, and Barr approaches it. And the San Diego Chargers will have their first look at the football. It comes down at the 15-yard line, and it rolls out of bounds. And Hank Bauer really took a chance there, letting that ball roll out of bounds. That was a free football.
Right at the end, Bauer kicked it with his foot to make sure it was out of bounds.
Saturday on Sports World, the action is fast and furious as the Muhammad Ali Boxing Club, with Tony Tubbs and Davey Armstrong scheduled to compete, squares off against the Mexico Boxing Club. Plus, see the bizarre and bruising sport of barrel jumping and semifinal action in the Legends of Bowling, all Saturday on Sports World. So they're marking off the 5-yard penalty against the Cincinnati Bengals, and Barr will put it down now at the 30-yard line. That was not a deep kick that time, Paul, and you would be reasonable to believe that if again it is short, the Chargers may have a fairly decent field position.
They will, and the wind in this stadium is very tricky. If you look at one end zone, the flags, they go to the left. You look at the other end, the flags are going to the right.
A first quarter score, Houston leads Oakland 7-0. Earl Campbell on a 1-yard run. And that game all important to the San Diego Chargers. Oakland one game behind both the Chargers and the Denver Broncos. They're set to go. Barr puts his toe into it. This is a little bit longer kick on the near side. Artie Owens at the 14. The 20 cuts to the center of the field. He's at the 30 to the 35. Before being tripped up by number 59, Howie Koenig. Another first period score, Paul. Detroit leads the Tampa Bay Buccaneers 7-0. Bo Robinson on a 6-yard run. For Artie Owens, a 21-yard return now to the San Diego, call it the 35. And the Chargers go on offense. Here we'll take a look at him. Fouts at quarterback. His running backs, Clarence Williams, Mike Thomas, and Lydell Mitchell. In motion to the near side is Mitchell. Fouts is going to go right to the air to his running back, Clarence Williams, and he is nailed. The man applying the hit is Marvin Cobb. Here's the receivers for you. At wide receiver, the man San Diego was counted on all year long, John Jefferson, and number 18, Charlie Joyner. At tight end, the 11-year veteran, Bob Klein. The offensive line, Billy Shields, Doug Wilkerson, Bob Rush, Ed White, and Russ Washington.
Well, what a big line that is.
And they give Dan about all the time he needs to throw the football. Fouts on the draw to Williams. No running room.
They had a safety blitz that time, and Marvin Cobb, the free safety, came up and made the tackle on the draw play. Here's a defense line. This is a makeshift defense for Cincinnati. Burley, Edwards, White, and Browner. The linebackers, Dinkle, LeClaire in the middle, and Reggie Williams, who was not supposed to start, is starting today. Defensive secondary, and these are all new people. Scott Perry, Ray Griffin, Archie's brother, Browner, and Dick Duran.
Fouts calls signals. It is 3rd and 9. He drops the pass, and he is hit. He gets away from one tackler. Gary Burley gives chase again. Fouts unloads, and it is short. A poorly thrown pass. Dan is hit by Burley just as he unloaded the football. And it'll be 4th down. Another score for you. Pittsburgh leads the Kansas City Chiefs 7-0. Terry Bradshaw has gone to John Stallworth, a 26-yard pass. Well, the Chargers unable to move the football on their first possession. They trail 7-0. Back deep to receive. Jeff West's punt is Mike Levenseller. West lets it fly. It's a high punt, a good punt. Levenseller takes it at the 20, gets away from one man to the 25, and he's tackled immediately. Man on the stop is Woody Lowe, the 4-year man out of Alabama. And we'll be back with more football from Riverfront Stadium, where the Cincinnati Bengals lead the San Diego Chargers 7-0. As you might suspect, Don Coryell, the head coach of the Chargers, not a happy man at this juncture. His ball club trailing the Cincinnati Bengals 7-0, 9:22 to play in the first period. Dave Lapham is now at center, replacing an injured Blair Bush. Cincinnati operates from their own 25. They throw it out to Archie Griffin on the far side, and it's overthrown. The man in pursuit was Willie Buchanan.
Well, we're going to show you throughout the game, but that time, Ray Preston, number 52, the outside linebacker, is supposed to cover that back coming out of the backfield, and there was nobody on Archie Griffin.
Well, Kansas City and the Buffalo Bills come to mind as being very, very successful against the Chargers with the screen. Another score, Miami over Baltimore, 7-0 in the first period. It is 2nd down and 10 for the Bengals at their own 25. Anderson pitch to the near side. It's Pete Johnson, and he is wrestled to the ground by Freddie Dean.
What a super play by Fred Dean, the defensive right end.
He's done it all season long, Paul. Here's another score. Seattle leads the Cleveland Browns 7-0. Sherman Smith on a 6-yard run for the Seahawks.
All right, let's take a look at it. Look at number 71, Dean. He fights off the block at the line of scrimmage. There's just no place to go. Mike Wilson cannot contain him, number 77, and Dean makes the play for a loss. Good play by the defensive end.
The Bengals now employ 3 wide receivers, 3rd and 11. Anderson wants to pass. He unloads, and he's got his wide receiver, Don Bass. An advance to the 33-yard line. However, it will be shy of the first down. Willie Buchanan on the hit.
I'll tell you, this is at the end of this play, it's a good play by Buchanan to hold him from not getting the first down. Watch what Buchanan does here. After Bass catches the ball, Buchanan puts the hit on him right there so he can't get up and get the first down. Good pass.
Cincinnati with its first punt of the afternoon.
Here comes Bass out of the back, off the line of scrimmage. Now he just hooks up in front of the corner man, in front of the safety, behind the linebacker.
Pat McInally standing at his own 18-yard line. The lone man for San Diego standing inside his own 25 is Mike Fuller. Here's the punt. It's a low end-over-end punt. Fuller should have a return. He's got it at the 30, to the 35, across the 40, and he's tackled on the far side. San Diego will operate from their own 41-yard line as McInally. You can tell how chilly it is. 35 degrees. Howie Kernick on the stop. A 37-yard kick, and McInally is averaging 43 yards. First quarter, Cincinnati 7, San Diego nothing. We'll be right back. There you see the series between San Diego and the Cincinnati Bengals. The Chargers lead it 6-5. San Diego has won the last 2 outings in San Diego Stadium. They lost the last game played here in Cincinnati. We'll tell you about it in just a moment. Bounce at quarterback from the 41. San Diego trails 7-0. The give is to Lydell Mitchell. He fights his way to the 45-yard line and gets nothing more. Next Sunday, start your day with NFL 79 when they examine the knee injury. Then see the Jets versus the Bears or the Dolphins battle the Browns, followed by a great matchup as Dan Fouts and these San Diego Chargers try to pierce Pittsburgh's steel curtain. Check local listings for the game and time in your area. 2nd down and 6. The ball resting at the 45-yard line. Fouts the pitch to the near side. It's Clarence Williams. Burley in pursuit. He'll get out of the way. Clarence Williams gave him the limp leg. Burley was not going to fall for it. Another score, first quarter. Houston and Oakland are tied at 7-all. Kenny Stabler has brought the Raiders back from a 7-0 deficit. A 23-yard strike to Raymond Chester. Larry Burton has now gone into the ball game. The Chargers with 3 wide receivers. Cincinnati is countered with 5 backs. Fouts back to pass. 3rd and 8. He lays it up for Burton. Larry's got it, and he drops the football.
What a play by Scott Perry, number 32. Burton had the ball, and he slaps it out of his hand. Fouts just laid the ball up in the air, and there's a holding penalty, I believe, against San Diego. Watch this play. Watch number 32. Now, 87 Burton catches the football, and Perry just slaps it out of his hands. Good play by the defense.
Paul, this is something the Chargers have done all year long. They'll send a receiver going wide and long down the near side, and then what they'll do is roll him back in to try and make the catch. Offense declined. A holding penalty on Russ Washington. It was there, I should say, on Doug Wilkerson. Check that. It was declined. And makes it now 4th and 8. The ball spotted at the 44-yard line. Jeff West will punt from his 33. He gets the ball away. A high punt. Mike Levenseller may have a return. He handles it at the 26, and he's hit immediately.
He fumbled the football, and I think it might be San Diego's ball.
Now the Cincinnati Bengals are claiming they have the football. It is still uncertain.
Wait a minute. Don Good.
Don Good is really mixing it up. He's upset. He thought the Chargers had the football. The officials say no way. The Cincinnati Bengals have it. Mike Levenseller really taking a chance there, Paul, inside his own 25-yard line, fielding that punt with a player bearing down on him. A 29-yard punt. Cincinnati has the football and the lead. The score from Riverfront Stadium, the Bengals 7, the San Diego Chargers nothing.
Take a look at the shot that Woody Lowe puts on Mike Levenseller right here. Watch number 51 in the picture, and he just pops the ball right out. You see it on the ground right there, and San Diego just couldn't come up with it.
And a costly mistake for San Diego. It was a turnover they would like to have recovered. It is now first down and 10 for Cincinnati at their own 23. From the I formation, Kenny Anderson calls the signals. The pitch to the far side, Archie Griffin, and he's nailed in the backfield. He gets away from Willie Buchanan, but he cannot escape the grasp of Ray Preston.
Look at this play. Watch Willie Buchanan, number 28. The corner comes up and doesn't really stop it right there, but just slows him down enough to get some help from the outside from Leroy Jones. But that's an excellent play by the corner.
Willie Buchanan has been doing it all year long for San Diego. Here's a score. Washington leads Bud Wilkinson, St. Louis Cardinals 7-0. John Riggins on a 7-yard run for the Redskins. Again from the I, Charles Alexander is in for Archie Griffin. Anderson to pass, and he is swarmed under by the Chargers. The first man to get there was Freddie Dean. He could not bring him down. The man who did get there, Big Gary, Big Hands Johnson.
Stoney, you should have said the first four that got there. Jones, Young, Johnson, and Dean. They were all in the backfield. And this is the thing we talked about at the beginning. I think they depend on these guys quite a bit to get to the passer, and they do the job.
Wilbur Young was there also. Wilbur leads the San Diego Chargers in sacks with 7. Kenny Anderson and the Cincinnati quarterbacking staff have been sacked 40 times so far this year. Anderson to give to Archie Griffin across the 15 to the 20. He finally wrestled down. The ball is fumbled. It is out of bounds.
I think that ball scared Woody Lowe. It pops up. You watch on this play here. He goes to the outside. Ray Preston, number 52, I think is the man that first gets to him. Right here. Watch the ball pop up in the air. It'll come out, and it goes right over the head of Woody Lowe. And out of bounds. It's still Cincinnati ball, 4th down.
San Diego has had 2 opportunities to recover miscues and have not been able to. Cincinnati, Pat McAnally punting from his own end zone. Back to receive is Mike Fuller at his own 42. There's a snap. The Chargers are coming. It's blocked. It is blocked. A ball is loose, and it is finally recovered by the Chargers inside the 10-yard line. The man who gets to the football is number 29, Mike Williams.
Oh, did they come? They come from the left-hand side. Now, McAnally has trouble with the center. He had one on the first time, and he's stepping right into the defender right there. Number 59, Cliff Thrift. And he blocks the punt. Beautiful block. He went where he had to go, 3 yards in front of the kicker, made the block, and they get the ball on the 8-yard line.
And that is only Pat McAnally's second blocked punt of the season. The Chargers with a tremendous opportunity. They trail this game 7-0. The setbacks, Clarence Williams and Lydell Mitchell. Dan Fouts calls the signals. They give it to Mitchell on the right side, and nothing doing. Big Gary Burley. It'll be no gain. 2nd down and goal from the 8. Here's one for you, as expected. The Pittsburgh Steelers starting early against the Chiefs. Terry Bradshaw to John Stallworth. A 31-yard Matt Barr field goal, and the Steelers lead the Chiefs 10-0. We've got 4:04 to play here at Riverfront. San Diego threatening. 2nd down and goal from the 8. Fouts wants to go to the air. He double pumps, now unloads. It's intercepted, and goodbye.
This is what happens, and I got to say it, when you don't have a running game. Now you watch watch what happens. He's trying to get the ball out here to Klein. Ray Griffin played it perfectly, and a 95-yard return for a touchdown. Forget it. There's nobody going to catch him.
So instead of the Chargers possibly threatening to tie the ball game, they did not do so. Instead, it is Cincinnati with a 13-0 lead. Chris Barr trying to make it 14-0, and he does it. And so, Cincinnati shocking the San Diego Chargers thus far here in the first period. 3:43 to play. Ray Griffin, and we're going to show it to you again. And the thing that is most gratifying for the Cincinnati Bengals and their fans, Paul McGuire, is that they are playing this football game with a Band-Aid defensive back.
They really are, and it seems that they beat the big teams. There's Ray Griffin with the interception return again for the touchdown. They beat Pittsburgh, but Pittsburgh had 9 turnovers in the game, 2 of them for touchdowns. They beat Philadelphia. But it seems that when a team is down and when they lose a lot of key players, it seems that the substitutes, they rise themselves to the occasion and do the job for him. Coryell is trying to get his team back together after that shocking 95-yard return.
There you see him. Number 44 is Ray Griffin, the second-year man out of Ohio State.
Stoney, I had San Diego last week in Kansas City, and I said it then and I'll say it again. Without a running game, you leave yourself wide open, and at that point down there, Cincinnati knew that they had to pass the football.
No question about it. Chris Barr puts his foot into the football, and it'll be Artie Owens at the 6. He's across the 10, the 15, the 20. Moves the ball to the 30-yard line, and that's where the Chargers will start. NBC brings 2 spectacular suspense movies to television for the first time. Tonight, Al Pacino stars in an unforgettable role, Dog Day Afternoon. And tomorrow night, Gregory Peck and Lee Remick star in the thriller, The Omen. Dog Day Afternoon tonight, The Omen tomorrow night. 2 thrilling television events, both on NBC. Artie Owens with a 21-yard return to the 25-yard line. San Diego on the short end of a 14-0 score. 3:32 to play. First period action from Riverfront. In motion to the near side as Mike Thomas bouts to the air. Looks at his running back and finally dumps it off to Clarence Williams. He's across the 35-yard line. A first down for San Diego. The man bringing him down is Tom Dinkle in his first start.
This is an excellent screen pass. Now you watch to the outside. Mike Thomas goes in motion. Clarence Williams sets up. There's the screen. He's got 2 blockers in front of him. And then he picks up the first down.
Clarence Williams is not a huge running back. He's only 5'11", 195 pounds, but he makes the most out of it. Fouts wants to go to the air on first down. He's got a receiver over the middle, and Klein cannot hold on. Again, it is Tom Dinkle sticking his hands where Klein didn't want them.
You got to know their hands are cold. It's kind of tough holding on to that football, and what the defense is doing, they're just trying to slap the ball away and not going for the interception.
It is second down and 10. The ball resting just shy of the 37-yard line. John Jefferson and Charlie Joyner, the former Bengal, to the near side. Bounce to the air on second and 10. Right over the center to Mike Thomas. He's got it across the 45-yard line, and the man bringing him down is number 57, Reggie Williams. It'll be shy of the first down.
And I'll tell you right here, Faust is taking exactly what Cincinnati's going to give him, and that's dumping to the backs coming out of the backfield. You see Mike Thomas coming across the middle. There's nobody there. The linebacker, Reggie Williams, is late getting there, and he almost picks up the first down. Depending on where they mark this, I think he's going to be short. Yeah, he is.
He's about 1.5 feet short. And, Paul, you were in Kansas City last week, and this is exactly what the Chiefs gave the Chargers. The short stuff. Would not give them the deep stuff to Jefferson or Joyner.
Well, we can take a long shot of the defense, and you can see where they're doubling up on the outside receivers, the wide receivers, and that's something that they have to do. The thing that Cincinnati has to depend on is that front 4.
Today's officials, referee Jerry Seaman, the umpire Frank Sinkovitz, head linesman Gil Mace, the line judge Bob McElwee, the back judge Bob Rice, the side judges Bill O'Brien. San Diego third and about a foot at their own 46-yard line. The Chargers trail the Bengals 14-0. Bounce. The give is to Clarence Williams, and he's going to be short, I believe, Paul. The man on the stop, the middle linebacker, Jimmy LeClaire.
You're going to have to question your running game when you can't pick up a half a yard. Take a look at it here. LeClaire, number 55, the middle linebacker, makes a superb play on the inside. Everybody held up. Burley, number 67, is holding up Washington. And LeClaire comes in and makes the play.
Clarence Williams trying to stretch that football out for all it's worth. And yes, it is going to be short. The Chargers faced with another punting situation.
And Stoney, they have to punt. They can't risk giving the ball up to Cincinnati again, being down 14-0, even though they only have about 6 inches to go.
No question about it. The Bengals are a team, Paul, that really thrives on emotion. And right now, the emotion is running very high on the near sidelines. Mike Levenseller, number 88, will be back at his own 16-yard line on the receiving end of Jeff West's punt. This will be Jeff's 3rd punt of the afternoon. He's averaging 37 yards a punt. There's a snap. It's a good one. And it is almost blocked. Gets it away. Levenseller backs up, fields it at his 11-yard line. And right there to put the hit on him, a whole group of San Diego Chargers. The first man to get there was number 59 for San Diego. And that is Cliff Thrift. He could not hold on. Jerome Dove brought him down.
Look at this thing is almost blocked on the outside by number 83, Rick Walker. And last week against Kansas City, he almost had a couple of them blocked. And I wouldn't be surprised to see him bring more people, Cincinnati, after West.
Thanksgiving is a special day, and NBC has a special game when Earl Campbell, Dan Pastorini, and the Houston Oilers come to call on Roger Staubach, Tony Dorsett, and the Dallas Cowboys. Turkey and football all November 22nd. The give is right up the middle to Archie Griffin. He's across the 10-yard line. Check it, Pete Johnson. Gary Johnson brings him down. Gain of about a yard. It'll be 2nd down at the 12. Here's another score. Still in the first period, St. Louis has caught the Washington Redskins. Theodis Brown on a 1-yard run. 2nd down. Call it 8. The ball spotted on the 13. From the I formation, the Bengals, they lead it 14-0. The give is to Griffin right up the pipe across the 15-yard line. They'll make a call at the 16. Woody Lowe on the stop.
This is a draw play. They faked this before and threw a pass. This time he gives it to Archie Griffin. They're getting good blocking up front. But Wilbur Young, big 99, he's a tough man to block.
Archie Griffin comes out of the ball game. It is 3rd and 5. The Bengals employing 3 wide receivers. From the full house, Anderson calls the signals. Bass in motion to the near side, and the give is right up the middle. No go. It is Pete Johnson, and Wilbur Young puts the hammer to him.
The reason that the people here are booing, I did a game here about 5 or 6 weeks ago when they jumped on Houston 24-0 and then tried to sit on the lead, and Houston came back and beat them. And I think this is what the people here are remembering, and they want to see Cincinnati do what they did in the beginning, and that's come out, throw the football, and go after San Diego.
Let's talk about the Bengal offensive machine. They're averaging better than 31 points a game over their last 4 games, so they can put points on the board. Back near his own end zone is Pat McInally as the first quarter draws to a close here at Riverfront Stadium. At the end of the first quarter, the score is Cincinnati 14, San Diego nothing. We'll be right back after these messages from your local station. When Don Coryell got to the stadium about 2 hours ago, he had on a muffler, a big parka, goose-lined, and all the whole thing, Paul. And look what he's down to now.
He'll be down to a T-shirt if they don't start putting something together here.
Back to punt the ball for the Cincinnati Bengals, Pat McInally, and to receive at his own 35 is Mike Fuller. San Diego blocked the last punt, and they'll be coming again. McInally gets his foot into the ball, a high spiraling punt. Fair catching it, Mike Fuller. He's got it at the 45-yard line, and they're mixing it up on the far side.
Scott Perry and Jerome Dove. I'll tell you, Jerome Dove put Scott Perry right to the turf.
We have another score for you. The Buffalo Bills lead the New York Jets 7-0. Mike Collier, a 1-yard run for the Bills. That was a 38-yard punt for McAnally, and the Chargers have the football. They trail this game. The ball at their own 45-yard line. On the near side, John Jefferson. The give is to Mike Thomas on the far side. He gets away from one man. He's across midfield to the 45.
Now that is an excellent running play, and Doug Wilkerson got to the outside and did a job. Watch number 63 come out and the block that he puts on the outside to open this hole. Mike Thomas breaks to the outside. Doug Wilkerson gets a block, and they pick up a first down. Good play.
Tom Dinkle and Dick Geron combined to make the stop. It is a San Diego first down at the Bengal 44-yard line. Bounce calling signals. They're going to run to the near side now. Again, it is Mike Thomas, and he moves the ball about 2 yards to the 43-yard line. The man on top of the pile is Ray Griffin. First man to him, Jim LeClaire. There you see the first quarter statistics. It has been all Cincinnati. And as we've talked today, rushing the Chargers with a net 4 yards, the Bengals with 52, San Diego with 20 yards through the air, Cincinnati with 30. Look at the total. 82 yards for Cincinnati, 24 for San Diego. Second down, 8 yards to go. The ball spotted at the Cincinnati 42-yard line. In motion at the near side is Jefferson before he turns it upfield. Fouts wants to throw. He's got all day long. He gets it to Thomas. Thomas escapes the one tackle. He's now inside the 30, the 25, and finally wrestled down at the 10-yard line.
Stoney, you said it, and I'll tell you right now, take a look at the pass protection this man has. Fouts goes back, and he's got all day to throw the football. Look at the blocking up front. All he has to do is wait and pick his receiver out, and he does. Mike Thomas gets away from Reggie Williams there and gets the ball down to the 10-yard line. This is an excellent run. Look at Klein blocking downfield. When you got your outside receivers and your tight end blocking for you downfield, you can get a touchdown.
It is first down at the 10. The Chargers trying to mount a drive here. Fouts to give to Lydell Mitchell, and he is knocked down at the 8. The man to get to him is Mike White out of Albany State. He's just a rookie. And we should mention Cincinnati started 3 rookies today. Here's one for you. The Houston Oilers over the Oakland Raiders in the second period. 14-7. Dan Pastorini passed to Kenny Burroughs, 55 yards. And that is an all-important game for the San Diego Chargers. Second down at the 8-yard line. On the near side, John Jefferson. The far side is Charlie Joyner. Bounce up the middle of Clarence Williams. He's got running room. He's inside the 5-yard line. The man to get to him is the middle linebacker, Jim LeClaire.
This play almost pops. It's a draw play up the middle to Clarence Williams. Everybody's reading pass. The line blocks like it's a pass. And Jim LeClaire, number 55, saves a touchdown.
He was the only man that really had a shot at him, Paul. The ball now resting at the 4. It is 3rd and goal.
What do you do, Stoney?
Knowing the Chargers, they'll throw the football. Bounce calling signals. He is going to throw it. Rolling right. He's got time. He throws high now. It is caught. Clarence Williams, the referee says no way. He is out of bounds. And Clarence Williams cannot believe it. The man applying the pressure to Clarence was Tom Dinkle. He chased him out of the end zone.
Stoney, he has Clarence Williams open right at the beginning of this play. On the fake to Lydell Mitchell. If he throws right now, Clarence Williams was open, but he turns it back to the outside. Remember, he has to have possession of the ball before he goes over the end line. And I'll tell you right now, that looks like a touchdown.
It looks like a touchdown. The Chargers will have to settle for a try for 3. They trail 14-0.
They have an injured player, San Diego, in the end zone.
Now We're trying to get the glasses on him right now. It looks like it could be, it is not Charlie Joyner.
John Jefferson.
John Jefferson. Now that's bad news for the Chargers. Jefferson appears to be in some pain. Second-year man out of Arizona State, has really played football in the pros, Paul. One heck of a wide receiver.
You know, that thing was so close. It sure looked like a touchdown from up here.
Now Mike Wood, he's made 5 out of 6 since joining the Chargers after the Roy Girella fiasco. They'll spot it down at the 12. It'll be a 22-yard attempt. The ball is down, the kick is up, and it is good. So with 11 minutes and 14 seconds to play here in the second period from Riverfront Stadium, it is Cincinnati 14, San Diego 3. And so the Chargers denied the touchdown, had to settle for 3. It is 14-3. 11-14 to play in the second period. Mike Wood kicks off. It'll be taken at the 5 by David Deacon Turner. He's at the 10, the 15 to the near side, to the 20, a 25-yard line across the 25, and we have a flag. And that is normally always a clipping penalty, Paul.
Or hitting below the waist. You're not allowed to block on any of the returns, punt return, kickoff return below the waist. And this is a clip.
And so the Bengals, instead of starting across their own 20-yard line, will operate from deep in their own territory. And they'll step it off now. Let's get the call.
Personal foul, clipping, number 52, receiving team.
So the man cut with his hand in the cookie jar is number 52, Tom Dinkle. And there you see Homer Rice. Here come the Bengals and Kenny Anderson. Anderson is 3 for 4 for 30 yards thus far in the game. Anderson wants to pass. He dumps it off to his running back, Archie Griffin, and it is overthrown. And Pittsburgh in the second quarter has begun pouring it on Kansas City. Terry Bradshaw has passed to Lynn Swann for 16 yards. And Seattle has gone ahead of Cleveland now 13-0. Sherman Smith, a 2-yard run, his second touchdown of the day. Here come the Bengals. It is 2nd and 10. To the far side, Isaac Curtis. To the near side is Don Bass. The full house backfield to give this time is to Pete Johnson. He crosses the 10-yard line. Leroy Jones wrestles into the artificial turf.
Leroy Jones makes an excellent play. They give the ball. It's a quick draw to Pete Johnson. And watch Leroy Jones, number 68. Plays it very well. Gets a lot of help from his friends and makes the stop.
Leroy Jones, Wilbur Young, Gary Big Hands Johnson, Freddie Dean. What a defensive front four. One of the finest in the NFL. 3rd and 7, the ball on the 12. In motion to the far side, Archie Griffin. Anderson wants to go to the airways. He's being pressured. He gets away from one man, but will not elude. We're trying to get the number right now. It is number 68, Leroy Jones, the man we spoke of.
Dean and Johnson, Young, Jones, they're living in Cincinnati's backfield. Watch it. Dean gets on one side, Johnson on the other side, Jones in the backfield, and Wilbur Young.
It's the 31st time Kenny Anderson has been sacked this year. That's the most in the NFL. And that forces another punting situation for Pat McInally. Back to receive for the San Diego Chargers is Mike Fuller. And San Diego should have the ball in great field position. They trail in this ball game at Cincinnati 14, the Chargers 3. McInally with his foot right at the base of the end line. He gets his foot into the ball. It's a short kick. Fuller comes up at his 42. He's got it at the 40, to the 35. He's got running room to the 30 and to the 28 before he is brought down. So the Chargers with superb field position here in the second period. They'll start from their own 28-yard line. Time remaining in the second quarter, 9:48. From the 28-yard line, Fouts gives to Clarence Williams. He'll try sweeping the right side. He's got a little running room before being bumped out of bounds by number 24. That is Cobb. Marvin Cobb and Tom Dinkle chase him out.
You know, Stoney, with the passing machine that San Diego has, it just doesn't ever seem that there's any obstacle they can't overcome. And you just have the feeling that they're going to get right back into this football game with their passing game.
Jefferson limped out, Paul, in the last series. He has just come back into the ball game. So whatever it was not serious. Jefferson and Joyner to the near side. It is 2nd and 8. Fouts to the air. All the time in the world. Dumps it right over the middle to Clarence Williams, and he's hit immediately by Jim LeClaire. A pickup of about 4. Jim LeClaire really put the stick to Clarence Williams.
Well, Clarence Williams had to hesitate for a second to make sure he caught the football to hold on to it, and that gave LeClaire all the time he needed to size him up.
Coming into this game, Clarence Williams was the 3rd leading receiver on the San Diego Chargers. 31 catches for 210 yards. It is 3rd and 3. The ball at the Bengals 21-yard line. Fouts with the full house backfield will go to the air again. The far sideline, it is caught by Lydell Mitchell. It'll be a first down at the 16. The man chasing him down was Tom Dinkle. Tom Dinkle thus far, Paul, has played one heck of a football game.
And this is tough coverage for the linebackers. One-on-one on the offensive back coming out of the backfield. Lydell Mitchell has excellent hands, and that ball was laid out. He just went after it and caught it for the first down. Take a look at this. Now watch the time he has. This is all important. When you have free linemen and not doing anything, Russ Washington, number 70, doesn't have anybody to block. That's how good they block up front, one-on-one.
It is 1st and 10. The ball at the 17-yard line for San Diego. Fouts. The give on a cross, buck to Lydell Mitchell. He's inside the 10-yard line, and he's knocked out of bounds at the 7. Jim Browner, this rookie out of Notre Dame.
Again, take a look at number 63, Doug Wilkerson. Watch the block he makes on the outside. This is a cross-action play in the backfield. Number 63 pulls out, knocks Marvin Cobb out of the way. And if it wasn't for Jim Browner right there, there's a touchdown for Lydell Mitchell. Good call, good play, and that's the 2nd time they've run that play and gained good yardage on it.
Al San Diego's much maligned running game appears to be generating a little bit more ability today. Of course, they're concentrating on it a little bit more this afternoon than they did at Kansas City. It is now 1st and goal. The ball at the 6. Fouts to Mitchell again, and he's hit in the backfield by Jim LeClaire.
If you remember earlier, Stoney, in the game when LeClaire made the stop on Clarence Williams in the first quarter to save a first down, what's happening is that middle linebacker is kid. He's just flying, and they're not getting an offensive lineman down to block him. If they can pick up the middle linebacker, San Diego can score.
Coming into the ball game now is Hank Bauer, number 37. This is a guy who has seen very little action thus far in 1979. Last year, he was the bread and butter man in short yardage situations. He's normally the guy they go to when they want to run straight at you. To Bauer, the right side. He's going nowhere this time.
They're just not blocking at the point of attack, and number 63, Mike White, makes the play. Now watch what happens here. The offensive line, they're just not blowing the people off the line of scrimmage. And that time, Bob Rush could not get Mike White, and Mike White makes the play.
I'll tell you, that's one of the few times I've seen Hank Bauer stop for no gain. It is now 3rd and goal. The ball just across the 5-yard line on the 4. Fouts. Goes on a crossing pattern. Touchdown to Charlie Joyner.
Charlie Joyner just runs away from Dick Geron, number 30, the safety man. There's no way that he could stay with him one-on-one. Again, excellent protection. Nobody near Faust. He's got all day to throw the football. Finds Charlie Joyner, touchdown. He ran away from Marvin Cobb also.
And so San Diego is back in this football game after falling behind 14-0. They have come back on a 22-yard field goal by Mike Wood and a touchdown pass from Fouts to Joyner. Mike Wood will try and make it 14-10. The kick is up, and it is good. So San Diego, after some early mistakes, have managed to put something together here in the second period, scoring 10 points. It is Cincinnati 14, the Chargers 10. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Nuclear safety on news conference, 6:30 tonight on KNBC Los Angeles.
Phil Stone along with Paul McGuire from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati. San Diego Chargers still trailing 14-10. With the football is number 35, Nathan Poole, to the 30-yard line. And that's where the Bengals will take possession. They lead the ball game 14-10.
All right, let's take a look at this again. Take a look at the protection. This man has all day to throw the football. There's really double coverage on Joyner. Geron, number 30, can't get over there. Joyner runs away from number 24, Marvin Cobb. Touchdown. It's amazing. They take the ball down on the running plays, and when they get inside the 10, they have to pass it for the touchdown.
Throw the football any way you can get it. The Bengals with the ball at their own 31. Anderson, the pitch to the near side. It's Archie Griffin, gets around the corner to the 30, the 32, the 33. He is wrestled out of bounds. Number 28 is Willie Buchanan and Mike Fuller.
Leroy Jones has got to have a little bit of complaining going on in here. Wilbur Young is the man, but take a look at from the backside. They just double Leroy Jones. And Mr. Preston comes in with Buchanan and puts a stop on him.
Look at those statistics. Archie Griffin, 6 rushes already today for 51 yards. He only has, oddly enough, 2 100-yard games in the NFL.
His brother outgained him on a 95-yard interception return.
It is now 2nd and 5 at the 35. The man in motion is Isaac Curtis, and Anderson wants to throw to his running back, and he overthrows Pete Johnson. Bob Horn had to roll up, Paul, to make the coverage on Johnson, and we spoke of that earlier. The outside linebackers just are not getting to the running backs.
If he gets the ball to that back, they're going to get first downs because Johnson was open.
It is now Washington over the St. Louis Cardinals 10-7. Mark Mosley has booted a 46-yard field goal for the Skins. The Bengals with an obvious passing situation, 3rd and 5. They now employ 3 wide receivers. Curtis, Kreider, and Don Bass. Back to pass. Anderson wants to dump it to his running back, and again he overthrows Pete Johnson. And Anderson harassed back in the backfield by big number 99, Wilbur Young.
You know, they're booing Anderson. There's a 3rd down statistics. The Chargers are 1 of 6. The Bengals 0 and 5. But, you know, they don't understand when you have that big defensive line coming down your throat, especially Wilbur Young, and they've got their hands in his face. That's a tough pass to complete.
And when you've been on your keister 32 times in 1979, you want to unload the football. Back to punt is Pat McAnally, standing at his own 20-yard line. He'll get it away. A high wobbly punt. Calling for the fair catch at the 37 is Mike Fuller, and he catches the football. So San Diego, scoring the last 2 times they've had their hands on the football, will start from their own 37. They trail in this ball game with 6:05 to play in the second period of football. It is Cincinnati 14, San Diego 10. That punt by Pat McAnally was 31 yards. He's averaging today only 32 yards of punt, about 11 yards below his average coming in.
When you kick on a cold day when it's 30 degrees, it's like kicking a brick.
San Diego starting now from their own 33-yard line. 1st and 10, in motion to the near side, Lydell Mitchell. Back to passes, Fouts, all the time in the world, dumps it off now to number 41, Bo Matthews. Matthews across the 40, still fighting across the 45-yard line. Marvin Cobb brings him down.
This is a super screen. They run this screen so well because everybody, they're outside worrying about the wide receivers. Now you're going to take a look at the middle linebacker, Leclerc. He's looking at screen now. Now he sees it. The ball is out here. He's got to fight off the blockers downfield. Bob Rush is the man that puts the block on him, the center. And Bo Matthews picks up a first down. That's a beautiful screen. I haven't seen too many teams that run a screen better than San Diego does.
Bo Matthews is one tough running back to bring down at 6'3", 222. It's a first down. The ball spotted now at the 47-yard line. Bounce. The give again is to Bo Matthews. He's got all the running room in the world to the near side. He's finally knocked out of bounds by number 57, and that is Reggie Williams.
The reason this play worked so well, they did get blocking up in the front line, but watch, the blitz was on. And once Bo Matthews gets by the line of scrimmage, you'll watch there's nobody to the outside. You see number 55, LeClaire, was in on a blitz. Bo Matthews comes back. Reggie Williams finally puts him out of bounds, but it is a first down. It's an excellent running play. All right, Ed White right here is on Eddie Edwards. He cuts him down at the line of scrimmage. The blitz was on with the safeties. They blocked everybody at the point of attack, and San Diego got to the outside. That was a beautiful play.
Another first down for the Chargers at the Cincinnati 40-yard line. In motion is John Jefferson, and Fouts is going to throw to him. It's a wobbly pass, and it could be picked off, and it is. Ray Griffin is still on his feet, and the referee's going to whistle him down. The ball was underthrown. The man applying the pressure was Ross Browner on Dan Fouts.
Dan Fouts would love to have this ball back again. It's a play-action pass. The heat was on, but he grossly underthrows the ball. Ray Griffin, interception, second of the day.
Second quarter, 4:57 to play. It is Cincinnati over the Chargers, 14-10. And that's where San Diego will take possession as the Bengal crowd starts to boo.
25-yard punt.
Coming up at halftime, NFL 79. Stay with us. We've got a good one going here from Riverfront Stadium. Phil Stone and Paul McGuire. The Bengals jumped off early to a 14-0 lead. They drove the length of the football field, then came back on a 95-yard interception by Ray Griffin. San Diego has come back with a field goal and a touchdown pass from Fouts to Charlie Joyner, and that's where we stand. 2:05 to play as we wind out of the 2-minute warning. Fouts wants to go to the air. He hits his running back, Mike Thomas, who is at the 40-yard line, and he is nailed. Gary Burley on the stop at the 41-yard line. A gain of about 2 yards. And at the 2-minute warning, a minute 59 to play. It's the Bengals 14, the Chargers 10. This is Phil Stone along with Paul McGuire from Riverfront Stadium in Cincinnati, where the Bengals lead the San Diego Chargers 14-10. And an interesting point, Paul, the last time these two teams met here in Cincinnati was in 1975, the final game of the year. The Bengals took a 20-0 lead before San Diego even ran a play from scrimmage. It was 27-0 at the end of the first quarter. Cincinnati went on to win that game 47-17. And the way this game started today, I thought we were going to have a recurrence of that game 4 years ago.
Well, you know, if you take a look at it, there's Don Coryell talking it over, and they've got it. They'd like to get another score, even if it's only 3 points before the half. But the thing about it is Cincinnati started out, did very well in the first series of downs, and then faded.
It is first down at the 42-yard line. Should say second down. Check it. San Diego puts Jefferson in motion. The throw now goes to number 85. Number 86, pardon me, that is John Floyd. Floyd does not see much action. He checked into the lineup, carries the ball inside the 20-yard line.
Well, he may see a little bit more now. John Floyd, number 86. Fouts read this blitz perfectly. He throws the ball right there, and that's number 24, Marvin Cobb. Once he misses the tackle, Floyd has got an open field, and he takes the ball all the way down to the 18-yard line. This was an excellent play by Fouts. Now take a look at here. Right now he reads the blitz, dumps the football. Quick throw right now. You see John Jefferson going by in your picture. He did not read the blitz. Fouts did, luckily. Gets the ball to Floyd. Floyd gets a first down on the 18. A minute and 27 seconds left to go in this half. And San Diego has to come away with at least 3 points.
Preceding announcement was furnished as a public service by the National Football League. As you see, Dan Fouts dropped for the first time in the ball game. The man that got to him is Gary Burley, the 6'3", 269-pounder out of Pittsburgh.
Gary Burley has had a super game so far, and he looks like he's limping, like he wanted to come out of the football game. San Diego takes a timeout. Now watch, he beats Russ Washington on the top side. Number 70, number 67 is Burley. He tries to push Burley by. Faust got a little bit too deep into the pocket, and Burley makes the tackle. Good play by the defense.
We should mention the reason we had problems with that earlier pass play to John Floyd. He was just activated. Floyd has not seen any action for the Chargers thus far this year. This telecast is presented by authority of the National Football League, and it is intended for the private use of our audience. Any rebroadcast or other use of this telecast without the express written consent of the Cincinnati Bengals and the Football League is prohibited. San Diego will have the ball. It'll be 2nd down and 18 on the 27. They're trying to get a score on the board. They trail Cincinnati 14-10. A minute 23 to play in the first half. As you see, Jimmy LeClaire trotting back onto the field.
Stoney, how strong is the leg of Mike Wood?
Well, Mike Wood is kind of an unknown quantity thus far, Paul. He has kicked 7 field goals, 6 field goals out of 7 tries for San Diego. He came on after Roy Girella joined the Chargers several weeks back. Girella made 1 out of 7. They got rid of Roy and brought on Mike Wood, who was released by the St. Louis Cardinals at the outset. There you see Mike Wood. He's 3 for 4 from inside the 29-yard line. He has kicked 2 out of 2 from 50 yards or better. So Mike Wood can kick the football. And they may have to rely on him here. A minute 23 seconds to go. 2nd and 18 at the 27. Fouts from the full house backfield, drops the pass. He's got heat. Still on his feet, he unloads to Bob Klein. And Klein makes the catch at the 23-yard line. The man he avoided was number 73, Eddie Edwards. He ducked right under the outstretched hand. And he was brought down by Jimmy LeClaire. The clock still rolling. 103, 102, 101. It is 3rd and 12. Fouts wants to go for more. He dumps it off to Clarence Williams. Clarence Williams cannot escape Reggie Williams. A great open field tackle by Williams. And they stop the clock. San Diego calls for a timeout to get the field goal unit onto the field. 53 seconds to play, and let's look at it again.
Here's a dump pass to Clarence Williams. Reggie Williams, number 57, makes a beautiful open field tackle, and this is a tough play to make. One-on-one on the back. Williams did his job, and now they got to bring on the field goal kicker. This will be a 42-yard field goal.
Well, between the 40 and the 49, Wood is 2 out of 5.
The reason Faust hurried up so much that last time, because that was his last time out, and he couldn't take one then. He wanted to save the one so they could get the field goal kicker on, and he rushed the play. But the play before that, when he ducked underneath Burley coming out, and he threw the ball to Klein, I thought was a super effort by Faust. He did his job. He went underneath, came back up, and got the pass off.
Dan Fouts, Paul, we should mention, is not the most agile or the quickest quarterback in the National Football League. And normally, 9 times out of 10, Dan will go down under that kind of pressure. To his credit, he did manage to stay up. Mike Wood with a 42-yard attempt. The ball is down. It is up. And it is good. It just makes it across the crossbar.
That's one of those, excuse me, Stoney, but that's one of those things you have to wait on. You sit there and wait for that ball get there. It just looked like it never would, but it did right down the middle.
You could have had lunch waiting for that ball to get there.
Well, now we found out how strong his leg is, because he did kick into a pretty good wind.
And there you see Don Coryell's Chargers. We'll look at it again from the end zone shot. Good follow through by Mike Wood. The ball, even the officials have to wait for this one. They wait, and they wait, and it's through. So after the Bengals went on top 14-0 in the first period, it has been all San Diego in the second quarter. A score now with 47 seconds to play. Cincinnati 14, San Diego 13. The Chargers with no timeouts. The Bengals with 3 timeouts remaining.
San Diego kicked off to Cincinnati, and when Cincinnati took the opening drive, marched the length of the field and scored, they looked very well. Since then, they had really not done anything. The interception by Ray Griffin, a 95-yard return for a touchdown, made it 14-0. But as far as Cincinnati's offense since then has been just without an offense completely.
We're set to go. 47 seconds to play as Mike Wood puts his foot into the football. It's going to be a squibber. It's taken by the up man at the 25-yard line. He's across the 30, to the 35, across the 40, across the 43-yard line. The man with the ball is a linebacker, Howie Koenig, number 59.
They're throwing some strange people at you, aren't they?
And those are the guys that the head coaches just have to shudder when they see him pick up the football.
Well, Koenig right here with the football, they're really not supposed to run with it. They are told to turn around and lateral the ball back to the backs because they're not used to carrying the football. Koenig does a good job here.
And Koenig, right out of the Cincinnati Bearcat organization. From the 35, first down, Kenny Anderson wants to go to the air. He's going to unload for Isaac Curtis. Back deep with him is Mike Williams, and it's knocked away. Knocked away inside the 10. Curtis and Williams both appear to have had a shot at it. Check it, that's Willie Buchanan.
That is the first pass of the day to Isaac Curtis. They have not used their wide receivers. We talked about at the beginning of the show. He's going to throw the back to the backs coming out of the backfield. This is really the first pass to Isaac Curtis. Watch the play by Willie Buchanan. He reads it all the way. He has the play. He has Isaac Curtis covered and just knocks the football away. He went up for the interception, and the ball drops. Good
Isaac
play.
Curtis, 3 touchdowns last week in a losing effort. It is 2nd and 10.
Fumble.
Anderson, a fumble on the ball. Freddie Dean caused it. It's going to be recovered by the Cincinnati Bengals. It is recovered by Vern Holland, the 9-year man out of Tennessee State. And it is Freddie Dean applying the pressure, what he does so well.
He came from the top side. Watch on the right of your screen. He gets back to the outside. He beats Mike Wilson, number 77, knocks the ball away, and they're putting the ball back on the 30-yard line.
And that'll be the last play of the first half as the fans boo here at Riverfront Stadium. In a game that was all Cincinnati when we sat down has turned into all San Diego. That's the end of the first half. The scores: Cincinnati 14, the San Diego Chargers 13. Bill Stone along with Paul McGuire live from Riverfront Stadium, where when the game started out it was all Cincinnati. They grabbed a quick 13-0 lead on a touchdown by the Bengals and then a 95-yard pass interception by Ray Griffin. Since that time the Bengals have done nothing. It has been all San Diego, Paul.
The one thing I really am impressed with, Stoney, is the running game that San Diego has put together in the first half so far. That's not devastating, but they're doing some things, and they know now that they can run the football. They're doing a lot of cross-action in the backfield, which is holding the linebackers. Wilkerson has had some super blocks coming to the outside, and they're being able to spring Lydell Mitchell, and I think that is encouraging to the San Diego fans and to the San Diego Chargers themselves on the field. They know they can throw the football, but when it comes down to the end, when you're going to get to the point where you come to the playoffs, they're going to have to run the ball.
The Chargers were the 4th worst team in the National Football League coming into this game, running the football, running for just over 103 yards a game. Today, though, they seem to be relying more on the rushing game than they have in previous contests.
Well, they know that the defense is going to get the ball back to them. You know, we joked about Kenny Anderson. I know the guy's got to be sore sitting in that locker room, and they got to sit down and take a look, Cincinnati, at their offensive line. What can we do to stop the front four of San Diego? They are just awesome. They're overpowering Cincinnati's offensive line to the extent where they're going to have to start keeping the backs in the backfield, Stoney. And if they do that, it's going to really limit their passing for Cincinnati.
We talked earlier about the Bengals' ability to win this football game would rely on how effectively Kenny Anderson could hit his running backs. He's had them open on numerous occasions in the first half, and he's merely overthrown both Archie Griffin and Pete Johnson.
The reason for that, I think, is he's getting a lot of heat from Dean and Jones on the outside. The two defensive ends are coming in and doing a great job. They're getting their hands in his face, and it's very tough to throw that swing pass, looping the ball over a defensive end. And what that's doing is giving the middle linebacker, Horn, some time to get over there. So far, and it scares me just a little bit because San Diego's linebackers really, as we touched on at the beginning, are not covering the backs coming out of the backfield.
San Diego's running game much improved here at Riverfront Stadium here today. The second half, the Chargers are going to have to, I think, rely on much more of a balanced attack than they have in the past, something like they're doing today.
Well, if you take a look at Faust, he's throwing to the backs coming out of the backfield. He's really not doing much with the wide receivers. The one thing he did with Floyd was a quick pass. Faust read the blitz extremely well. He hit Floyd. Floyd got by Marvin Cobb and picked up the first down. They got inside the 20-yard line. These are the things that are going to happen. They're giving him the backs coming out of the backfield. They're giving him the tight end short, and he's taking it. The one long pass that he threw to John Jefferson, he got hit, and it was underthrown.
And we'll be right back right after this.
Hello again, everyone. Brian Gumble and Mike Adamle welcoming you back to NFL 79. We're in the midst of Sunday number 11. Very busy afternoon here in AFC action. We'll try to get you all caught up on just what is going on. In Houston, we've got a game that we knew it's going on just as we knew it would be. Two very good teams with playoff aspirations. The Raiders and the Oilers, they're dead even now, 14-14. And Mike, you and I talked about it early on about the difference in the AFC, NFC, perhaps being great coaches in the AFC. We've got two very admirable men down in the Dome.
Well, I think the jury is still out on Oakland's coach, Tom Flores. His team is only 6-4 in his first year, but no, we're doubting the abilities of Bum Phillips. He has been super. Oilers got on the board first when Earl Campbell. Watch him get tagged here by Jack Tatum, but it's not enough, and he goes into the end zone 7-0. Oakland came back in the first quarter when Ken Stabler with all kinds of time, and when he has time like this, look out. Here he finds Raymond Chester over the middle to make it 7-7. In the second quarter, Dan Pastorini, who has had some hard times this season, finds Ken Burrow alone in the secondary, past Monty Jackson, touchdown to make it 14-7. Raiders answered with another one. It's 14-14. Oilers 7-3, Raiders 6-4. Key game, just as you said.
Indeed it is, Mike. NFL people like to talk about parity throughout the NFL, but there is no parity with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They're in a class by themselves, and it's the Chiefs' day in the barrel today. Third period, Steelers 20, Chiefs nothing. Mike, this team is getting absolutely boring. They do whatever they want to.
I got to believe that they could beat an NFL All-Star team. I seriously believe that. They have all pros at virtually every position with Bradshaw, with Kolb. It's a fantastic performance, and it makes the job of Chuck Noll that much more easy. Actually, the Steelers reverted to a trick play early on, the flea flicker. Harris to Bradshaw to Stallworth, 26 yards and an early 7-0 lead for Pittsburgh. And then Bradshaw found Lynn Swann, and watch this patented Swann reception. He's quite an artisan. 14-0 early on. Kansas City looks like they're going to have no chance at all to even get close in this ballgame.
You know, it's not just the points they score and the scores they win by. It's how they do it. And they make it look very, very easy.
Boy, beautiful.
No substitute for talent. Detroit out in front of Tampa Bay, 7-3. This ball game now at the half. The Lions with a 1-9 record in search of only their second of the year. Bo Robinson's 6-yard run, the lone score in that game. Miami, Baltimore. This ball game just getting started. The second half. It's third period score now. Miami's out in front, 13-0, ahead of a Colts team that's had some good fortune in recent weeks, but is having quarterback problems of late, the same as Miami has had in recent weeks.
Well, Burt Jones, who stirred the Colts to 4 victories in the last 5 outings, was hurt last week, and he's on the sidelines. Bob Greasy has been questioned about his physical health. However, he insists that he's as healthy as he's ever been as they compare arms. Watch some of the action in the first quarter. Greasy back to pass, 18 yards in the end zone. There's Nat Moore, touchdown. Miami was given an early 7-0 lead. This is a key game for the Miami Dolphins after that heartbreaking loss to the Oilers last Monday night.
They should have compared their left arms. They might have found them in better shape. Buffalo against the Jets. Early on this year, the Bills beat the Jets 46-31 when Jerry Butler scored 4 touchdowns. Butler not in uniform today. The Bills are leading the Jets 7-6. The Jets are adjusting to life without a great wide receiver of their own, and that's Wesley Walker.
At least they can call on the NFL's most potent rushing attack in the personage of Scott Durkin, Kevin Long, and company. However, Buffalo cannot do that. Jerry Butler's replacement, however, Lou Picone, a little wide receiver I used to play with, is having a good afternoon. He catches a 20-yard reception from Joe Ferguson here. Nice move on the defensive back, puts Johnny Lynn down, and has set up a 1-yard touchdown run by Mike Collier. Here it is. It gave Buffalo a 7-0 lead. But the Jets came right back, drove all the way down to the 1-yard line where Kevin Long took it up and over. The extra point was missed. Buffalo led early 7-6. The Jets are 5-5, and Walt Michaels has stressed to his club that this is a must-win situation for them.
Okay, the Redskins and Cardinals have something about the number 17-7. That was the final when they met a few weeks ago, and it is the score today as they break for the half. Both times Redskins out in front, 17-7. There are 2 upsets going on in the state of Ohio. This one in Cleveland not being enjoyed by Ohioans because the Seahawks are out in front, 16-3. They've rebounded from last Sunday when they could get only -7 yards against the Rams. Mike, I liked your comment earlier as they must have had a good case of amnesia because you got to put something like that behind you.
Well, Patero had a little watch and was going, you will forget, you will forget. For Jim Zorn, he had to forget last week's performance. It was his worst of his career, but this afternoon he's played extremely well. So has Sherman Smith. He's rushed for 2 touchdowns, including this 6-yarder here that gave the Seahawks an early 7-0 lead. Zorn hit Largent, number 80, his favorite receiver, for 47 yards all the way down to the 1-yard line to set up a second Sherman Smith touchdown, and that ought to make Sherman Smith's friends and family happy. He bought 52 tickets to this afternoon's game.
He may break even if they win. We mentioned that there are 2 upsets going on in the state of Ohio. Obviously, the other one is going on in Cincinnati, unless you know of an NFL team that I don't. Bengals are out in front of the Chargers 14-13. Bengals jumped out in front 14-0, but the Chargers have been coming back. Mike, the Chargers thought they were Super Bowl contenders, but they really tend to waver. They lose their concentration at odd times, like falling behind a day.
It's games like this that is going to determine whether they are indeed a super team in the caliber of Pittsburgh. Homer Rice, his team, the youngest, the most improbable, certainly, in the NFL. They led 7-0 when Ray Griffin picked off this Dan Fouts pass, and watch him go. 95 yards in all to give Cincinnati an early 14-0 lead. However, San Diego has come back with 13 points of their own, and this is a key game for San Diego. They would like to go 8-3, and certainly they would like to be considered in the same classification as the Pittsburgh Steelers.
That's tough. That's tough going. Okay, very quickly, late scores. Rams out in front of the Bears 9-0 in the first period. New Orleans leading the 49ers 17-love in the second, and Green Bay in the second leading the Vikings 7-0. Still to come later today, it's New England against Denver from Mile High, and later tonight on NBC, Strongest Man in the World on Disney's Wonderful World. That followed by Al Pacino in Dog Day Afternoon. Second half, let's go back to the ballparks.
National Football League action will continue with the second half kickoff from Cincinnati with the score Cincinnati 14, San Diego 13. In the first half, the San Diego Chargers, there you see the statistics, own the statistical edge, but it is Cincinnati on the scoreboard by a score of 14-13. The Chargers with 9 first downs, Cincinnati's 6. Cincinnati has outrushed San Diego 50-72, but look at the passing yardage. The Chargers 117 yards to Cincinnati's 10. Total yardage 167 for the Chargers. The Bengals with but 82. Dan Fouts on the day 11 for 18. Kenny Anderson is 4 out of 13. He is primarily aiming for his running backs, and he is not hitting them. The turnovers, the Chargers have 2. The Bengals are yet to turn the ball over.
Interesting thing that we talked about at halftime, Stoney, is the fact that San Diego in the first quarter had 4 yards rushing. They ended up with 50, so they are moving the ball. All right, we're going to see the officially 96-yard interception return by Ray Griffin, Archie Griffin's younger brother. And Fouts, if he could get this ball back, he'd love to have it, because he was trying to throw to Klein on the outside. Ray Griffin read it very well. The rush was on in the race for the end zone.
And it was really, Paul, all Cincinnati in the first period. In the second quarter, there you see it, a 22-yard field goal by Mike Wood made it 7-3. A 14-yard pass from Fouts to Joyner made it 14-10, and a 42-yard field goal by Wood made it 14-13. So it has been all San Diego in the second period, and they will receive the football here in the second half. As you see, the wind is kicking up, the temperature is dropping, and we are underway again from Riverfront Stadium as Barr puts his foot into the football. It'll be Artie Owens at the 8-yard line on the far side of the 15, the 20, the 25, still on his feet across the 30-yard line and wrestled down at the 32. The man bringing him down is number 51. That is Tom Rudd, a linebacker. San Diego, it is 14-13 Bengals. 22-yard return by Artie Owens. Artie's had a good year returning the football. He's averaging just about 23 yards a return, his longest being 40 yards. Chargers have yet to break one for a touchdown in 1979. Dan Fouts, the Chargers' first play from scrimmage here in the second half. A handoff is to Lydell Mitchell. They'll try the right side. He gets by one man, but does not escape the grasp of Bo Harris. Number 53 is in the ball game, and Jim LeClaire. The ball at the 36-yard line. It is now 2nd down and 7. Jefferson to the near side. Charlie Joyner splits out wide right. Fouts back to pass, takes his drop. He's going to unload this one. And down goes Joyner. It's intercepted by Marvin Cobb. And there is no flag on the play. It appears as if Joyner fell down. Joyner is furious. Marvin Cobb is as happy as he can be.
Dave Faust goes back. He's trying to hit Charlie Joyner. This ball, he just hangs out like he did the one to Jefferson earlier in the game. Charlie Joyner feels like he got knocked down. Marvin Cobb makes the interception. Good play by the defense. All right. This ball really is underthrown. It's a tough pass to throw right off the bat. We can't see whether Cobb knocked him down or not. It was an excellent interception.
The Bengals have the ball now at their own 15-yard line from the I formation. That gives us to Archie Griffin, and he is hit hard by Wilbur Young. He gets by him, though, and is finally brought down at the 15-yard line. So still a loss of about a yard on the play. The man getting to the outside was Freddie Dean, and I'll tell you what, Paul, for standing 6'2" and going 230 pounds, Freddie Dean is quick as a cat.
He really is, and that time Wilbur Young just shot the gap, and he hit Archie Griffin and knocked. I thought he was going to knock him back towards the end zone. Good play by the defensive line. They have just been superb.
We were just told Keith King from San Diego, number 57, is out now with a broken wrist. The Bengals from the eye. The give us to Charles Alexander, the rookie out of LSU, and no gain on the play. It is Wilbur Young.
You know, in the first half, we had Leroy Jones doing all the damage along with Freddie Dean. Now Wilbur Young and the tackles are starting to do the job. All right, Charles Alexander from LSU. This is a quick draw play, and it didn't fool anybody because big number 99, Wilbur Young, makes the hit along with Ray Preston, 52. Good play by the defense. This defense, you know, we keep talking about it. They are awesome.
It is now third down for Cincinnati, 3rd and 11. They've only converted 1 of 8 thus far. An obvious passing situation. And there goes Wilbur Young right through everybody, and flags are flying in Cincinnati. Was he drawn off, or did he jump?
He's just trying to get a little bit of a head start is all. Watch 99, Wilbur Young.
Nobody moved in the dark jerseys. And they're still talking it over. Yeah, they're going to walk it off against San Diego. So
Anderson leaned over to the line and said to Wilbur, you know, you guys are getting back here fast enough.
Encroachment, number 99, defense.
That one conversion on 3rd down was that run of Anderson's. So the quarterback is the only one that picked up a first down on 3rd down situations.
I thought maybe Kenny called Wilbur a sissy and he took off after him.
I don't think so.
It is now 3rd down and 6. From the 20, Anderson to pass. He's got time this time, dumps it off to Pete Johnson. The ball is dropped, and you've got to believe he heard the footsteps of Woody Lowe coming right at his throat.
There's the difference, the adjustment that they made. The linebacker covering the back coming out of the backfield, and Woodrow Lowe was right there to hit Pete Johnson. Watch this play. This is what the linebacker, you see 51 Woody Lowe. He sees Johnson run to the outside. Preston's covering his man, Archie Griffin, and there's Woody Lowe right there. And that's the difference, having the linebacker up on the offensive running back coming out of the backfield. Good play.
That creates a punting situation for the Bengals from their own 20. McAnally standing at his 5. Back deep is Mike Fuller for San Diego. A long count, the snap a good one, all the time in the world to get it away, and boy does he get his foot into that one. We've got a flag down. Fuller at his 30. The 35, the 40 goes to the outside. He's across the 45-yard line and down. The man he cannot get by is number 28 for Cincinnati, Scott Burke. We've got a flag on the play back at the 28-yard line. And they're going to look like they're going to take the ball back up. Let's listen for it. It is offside against San Diego.
It will not give them a first down, though, Stoney. They'll be about a half a yard short.
You've got to wonder what they'll do here. It was a 50-yard punt by McAnally. Do you take the 50-yard punt, or do you drop it back? He's only averaged 32 yards so far today, Paul.
Well, the thing about it is, though, that the ball is in excellent field position on the 46-yard line of San Diego.
Here comes the offensive unit for the Chargers onto the playing field. It looks like Cincinnati has decided to take the punt and give the ball to San Diego.
I don't believe this. I'd take the penalty and kick again.
Yeah, I would too.
Offside, number 60, defense, decline.
See, I don't understand it, because they're giving San Diego the ball on the 46-yard line. You go back and kick again.
You've always got a chance of several things happening, too. including the possibility that the Chargers might jump offside. From Riverfront Stadium, there's the score. Cincinnati 14, the San Diego Chargers with the football 13. There you see a score. The Miami Dolphins out in front of the Baltimore Colts in the third period. It is 16-13 Dolphins. Here at Riverfront Stadium, the situation, the Bengals lead the Chargers 14-13, 12:25 to play in the third period. Fouts on a quick out pattern to Jefferson. He's got Russ Washington out in front of him, and it does him some good to the 40-yard line before being wrestled out of bounds by Tom Dinkle. Here's another one for you. Buffalo in front of the New York Jets 7-6, a low-scoring affair in the fourth period. Dan Fouts thus far in the game, 11 completions, 19 attempts, 126 yards. But the costly statistic, Paul, is he's been intercepted 3 times. The only one that inevitably cost him was the Ray Griffin 95-yard touchdown.
And the ones that have been intercepted, except for the long touchdown run, the 2 interceptions were long bombs that they don't have. They're not getting them. Take the short stuff. That's what he's giving you.
1st and 10. San Diego at the Bengal 40. Fouts wants to go deep, cannot go deep, tries to throw the football as he's on his way down, and it's almost intercepted by Gary Burley. And Dan Fouts has been around the NFL much too long to be throwing a football on his way down. It was Eddie Edwards applying the heat, and I'm really surprised, Paul, that Dan tried to unload.
Well, he tried to save the sack right here. He wants to throw it to the outside, and then he sees Klein, number 84, down the middle, and when he dumps it, he's going down right here, and he almost throws it in the hands of Burley. Burley said, "What's this?"
The oblong thing with the threads, Gary. At the 40-yard line, it is now 2nd down and 10. Fouts takes his drop. He's going deep now, and he's got a man. It is Charlie Joyner at the 25, the 20. Takes it to the outside, inside the 15 to the 12.
What a super move by Charlie Joyner after he caught the football. He just ducked between the 2 defenders and picked up another 15 yards. This was an excellent pass. Fouts puts this ball right on the money. It's not a deep pass. It's about 16 or 17 yards. Joyner curls back, and watch what he does now. There's LeClaire there. Marvin Cobb there. He goes right between the 2 of them and picks up an additional 15 yards.
Dick Geron, finally the guy that pushed him to the outside. A 29-yard completion to the Cincinnati 12. The Chargers in business. They trail 14-13. From a full house backfield, the wide receiver split to the near side is John Jefferson. The give is to Mike Thomas, and look out. Gary Burley knew where the football was that time. Gary Burley has been all over the football field today, and look at that big guy. 6'3", 270 pounds.
Meanness.
Here's one. Seattle now in front of Cleveland. It is only 16-10. Don Cockcroft, 28-yard field goal, and a 66-yard run by Mike Pruitt has brought the Browns back to within 6. It is now 2nd and 14 from the 16-yard line. In motion is John Jefferson. Fouts wants to go to the air. He unloads to his running back. That is Clarence Williams, and there it falls short. The man after him was number 63, Mike White.
They had a lot of heat on him that time from Ross Browner, number 79.
Oh, you can't say enough about big Ross Browner. He's in his 2nd year out of Notre Dame. He was a member of Notre Dame's 1977 national championship team. He won the Outland Trophy and the Lombardi Trophy that year.
All right, now we're going to see Fouts. He's going back into the pocket. He's got good blocking. And you see right on the bottom of the screen, Browner grabs him by the feet. This pass should have been caught by Clarence Williams, and Fouts did a great job just getting the ball off.
So it's now 3rd and 14. The Chargers trying to get on the board. Fouts with plenty of time, lofts one to the end zone, and it is beyond John Jefferson. Jefferson's claiming he was interfered with by Ray Griffin. The officials say, Now that's the way it's going to stand. Everybody's pointing fingers. Even Charlie Joyner, Jefferson's running mate, is calling foul. Here's one. Houston now in front of Oakland in the 3rd period. It is 21-14. Tim Wilson, a 7-yard run for the Oilers. So Mike Wood will now try a 34-yard field goal to put the San Diego Chargers in front for the first time today. The ball is down. He's got it through. It looks good, and it is. Mike Wood with his 3rd field goal out of 3 tries today puts the San Diego Chargers in front for the first time of the afternoon. It is now 16-14. And so Mike Wood, the man who gave San Diego their first lead of the afternoon, will try to pin the Bengals deep in their own territory. He's 3 out of 3. His longest one, a 42-yarder today. Wood approaches the ball at the 35. It's a low squibber. And again, it's going to be fielded by an up man. He's got it across the 35 to the 38. It is Howie Koenig again with his second return of the day. Koenig had never returned a kickoff until this afternoon, and he has 2 of them on the day. Howie Koenig's having a field day. NBC brings 2 spectacular suspense movies to TV for the first time. Tonight, Al Pacino stars in an unforgettable role, Dog Day Afternoon. And tomorrow night, it's Gregory Peck and Lee Remick in the thriller The Omen. Dog Day Afternoon tonight, The Omen tomorrow night. 2 thrilling television events, both on NBC. From the 34-yard line, it is first down, Bengals. Anderson wants to go to the air. Archie Griffin. He's got it across the 40-yard line. He turns it back to the inside across the 45. He's at midfield. Number 99, Wilbur Young, finally runs Griffin down, as does Gary Big Hands Johnson. And that is saying something. We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
Family Feuds turn into Family Fortunes tonight at 7:30.
This is Phil Stone along with Paul McGuire coming to you from a chilly Riverfront Stadium. The temperature is 35 degrees. San Diego leads the ball game. It is 16-14. 10:17 left in the third period. The handoff goes right up the center to Pete Johnson. Does he get through? There was no hole there, but Johnson made one. He was finally brought down by Ray Preston, the left side linebacker.
This looks a little bit like the first drive that Cincinnati put together in the first period.
Checking out of the ball game, the rookie out of LSU, Charles Alexander. Back in is Ray Griffin. Should say Archie Griffin.
It just seems impossible for Pete Johnson to get out of the middle of this, but they got some good blocking up in the middle. Look at the massive bodies, and he came out of that thing with about an 8-yard gain.
It is now 2nd and 2. The pitch goes to Griffin, the tailback. He cuts it across the 40-yard line. Inside the 40-yard line, he'll have a first down. The man at the bottom of the pile was Woodrow Lowe and number 55, Bob Horn, the middle linebacker. And there you see Archie Griffin. Archie Griffin is not a big man by any stretch of the imagination. 5'8", 180 pounds, and he lends credence to the belief that the small man can play in the National Football League. Griffin, 9 attempts, 62 yards. 1st and 10, Cincinnati at the San Diego 36. Everybody's moving on the line. Anderson drops the pass. He's got Alexander over the middle. And the man who stands him right up is Ray Preston. We've got flags everywhere.
San Diego was offside this time, and I don't know if I think they'll take the penalty because he didn't get the first down. All right, here, this is what Anderson looks at. He drops back, he play action pass to Charles Alexander, and then he just turns around and dumps the ball right back to him. Good play, good catch.
It is offside against San Diego. You called it, Paul.
Well, I think what you do, you take the penalty because it's still first down. You sacrifice 2 yards on the play, but you pick up a down.
And referee Jerry Seaman is walking it off now. It'll move the ball to the 32-yard line where it'll be 1st and 5.
Offside, number 99, defense.
Archie Griffin checks back into the ball game, replacing the rookie Charles Alexander. Cincinnati started 3 rookies today. They have 12 rookies on their ball club. Wide to the near side is Don Bass. Split out wide to the left is the San Diego State veteran Isaac Curtis. The give is to Pete Johnson. He gets by Freddie Dean. He's inside the 25-yard line, and we've got a hanky on the field. Boy, when Pete Johnson runs the football, it makes some noise. Referees are talking it over now. Let's get the call.
I think we might have a holding penalty against Cincinnati.
Indeed. Holding against the Bengals, and that'll take it out.
All right, Johnson just breaks it to the outside. Dean misses him right there. This is a good play. It would have been for a first down. Preston's downfield. And I'll tell you right now, he just ran over Mike Fuller.
Coming in, Pete Johnson is averaging 3.4 yards a carry.
Holding, tight end, offense.
So the hold was against number 89, the tight end Dan Ross. And that pushes the ball back to the 42-yard line. It is now 1st and 15. The running backs, Archie Griffin and Charles Alexander. Pete Johnson is out. In motion at the near side, Alexander. Anderson to throw. He unloads, and he's got his man. Don Bass has the ball at the 24-yard line. Don Bass leads this team in receptions coming in, Paul.
And this is the reason why this pass is completed. When you have time to throw the football, as Kenny Anderson has here, he's an excellent quarterback, and he's got the time. He steps up into the pocket, nobody near him, and he finds Bass coming across the middle. You can only stay with someone for so long. When you get that kind of protection, Stoney, you got to be able to complete them.
No question, Paul. The pickup 19 yards to the San Diego 22-yard line. Anderson, they'll give us to Archie Griffin. He's around the 20-yard line, and he gets inside the 20-yard line. The man bringing him down, number 28, is Willie Buchanan. And the heat applied by Mike Fuller. Look at this one. The Los Angeles Rams out in front of Chicago at Soldier Field. It is 16-0. Jeff Rutledge has passed to Terry Nelson for 18 yards. Oh, the Rams operating without Pat Hayden, and will have to do so for the remainder of the 1979 season. Here we go, 2nd down and 5. The Bengals threatening here with 7:22 remaining in the 3rd quarter. The ball at the Chargers 17. The give is to Pete Johnson, and he bowls his way across the 15 to the 14. Don't forget, immediately following our telecast from Cincinnati, from Mile High Stadium in Denver, the big clash, the New England Patriots versus the Denver Broncos, an all-important game in the AFC Western Division. Coming into the ball game, Archie Griffin. Coming out is Charles Alexander. It is now 3rd down, 1 yard to go. The ball on the 14. A key play here for the Bengals. Archie Griffin and Pete Johnson. The give is to Johnson. He tries to go across. It's going to be very, very close. Freddie Dean signaling they did not get it. However, almost certain to be a measurement here.
He had to get to the 13-yard line for the 1st down, and I don't think he made it.
It looks like they're going to call in the chain gang. No, they are not. They are not. They're saying it is about a yard short, Paul.
Well, this time Wilbur Young in the defensive line really beat Cincinnati to the punch. The play was right there, and Horn makes the stop on Pete Johnson. Good defense. I don't know why the people are booing here. With a field goal, it puts Cincinnati ahead 17-16.
Some strange fans in Cincinnati, but loyal fans to sit in this 35-degree weather. 4th and inches, and they're going to go for it. Kreider holding. Chris Barr will attempt the field goal that will give them the lead. The snap is high. It is a fake. Kreider's going to try and go for it. And it's still anybody's guess.
He didn't make it.
I don't think he made it. The snap was high. It's about all he could do, Paul. He had to go up off of his stance to get the football, and I believe the Chargers have held.
Well, the snaps have been high all day for the punter, McAnally, and now they're going to measure this.
It was a great second effort by the holder. Give all the credit to Steve Kreider. He tried everything to bowl his way to the 13-yard line, and we're going to find out in just seconds whether or not he made it.
No, he didn't make it.
I don't think he did either. The Chargers are so confident. Dan Fouts is standing right over the football. He did not make it. It is San Diego's ball. So the Cincinnati Bengals, this has happened to them time and time again. They have tried to score. They have been in scoring position and couldn't do it. There you see Kreider. It is just a high snap.
It was a high snap, and he couldn't get the ball back down, and he did the smart thing. He picked it up, and he almost picks up the 1st down.
So mistakes and misfortune by the Cincinnati Bengals. It has cost them again. It is 6:06 remaining in the 3rd period. It is San Diego 16, the Bengals 14.
We're going to watch again the high snap, and what happens is Steve Kreider can't get the ball down. He doesn't get a good handle on it right here. The ball comes down. He knows now that Barr is already by the ball, and he has to run.
And the roar you hear in the background, the Cincinnati Bengal fans are exhorting their charges. And the Chargers will try and move the football against the defense. In motion, Mike Thomas to the near side. Fouts wants to throw the football. Moving in on him, Eddie Edwards. And let me tell you something. That defensive line and these fans in Cincinnati are really fired up, Paul.
You got to believe that the fans make a difference. Watch 73, Eddie Edwards. He just isn't blocked at all, and he gets the foul.
I'll tell you what, these fans here have shed their down warm-ups. They are ready to get down for some serious football viewing. A loss of about 8 yards. And again, it is very difficult to hear over the fans here. Some 45,000 strong. Fouts from his own 4-yard line. The give is to Mike Thomas. He will not be able to turn the corner, and again a loss. Gary Burley, the big defensive end for Cincinnati, brings him down. San Diego could be in trouble. They do not run the football well, and they run it worse.
This is almost a safety. Watch Burley, number 67. Ed White tried to block him and couldn't. Burley does tackle him in the end zone. Thomas gets out. He saved 2 points.
I'll tell you, this defensive front wall kind of reminds you right now of the college type of rivalry and emotion that goes on. These guys are fired. 3rd down and a bundle. 3rd and 23 from the 1 for San Diego. Fouts. The give is to Thomas. Nowhere to go. He is stopped at the 2-yard line, and San Diego will be thankful just to be able to get rid of the football.
You got to remember here, Jeff West does not have the 15 yards to work with now. He's going to be kicking the ball from about 12.
Jeff West will have about, as you said, Paul, about 12 yards to work with back there. He likes 15 to 16 yards. And you can bet everybody from Cincinnati will be coming. Mike Levenseller, the only man deep to receive West's punt. He'll get this one away in a hurry. He'll have to. There's the snap, a good one. The kick is away. A good high sailing punt forces Levenseller back to midfield. He comes back upfield to the 50. Nobody home.
What an excellent punt by West. He put that ball up in the air. They tried to hold the San Diego offensive line intact. They couldn't do it. The coverage was downfield. Super by the special teams.
A 48-yard kick. And the Bengals will have the football at the midfield stripe just inside San Diego territory. Saturday on Sports World, the action is fast and furious as the Muhammad Ali Boxing Club squares off against the Mexico Boxing Club. Plus, see the bizarre and bruising world of barrel jumping, the semifinal action in the Legends of Bowling, all Saturday on Sports World. From the Charger 48-yard line, Cincinnati with possession. They trail the ball game 16 to 14. 4:18 to play in the 3rd quarter. Anderson wants the pass, throws it right over the top and cannot complete it. And Anderson is down. Anderson took a shot from Leroy Jones, and he's slow getting up. He tried to unload it to Pete Johnson, Paul, and Pete was shoelaced. He couldn't get anywhere.
Well, he was already tackled by Wilbur Young. Two great plays by 2 good defensive linemen. Leroy Jones, number 1, he gets in, getting Anderson. And number 99, right there, Wilbur Young on the bottom, holding Pete Johnson so he can't get the football. He's just tackling him. He thought he had the ball on the fake. It's a good play.
Leroy Jones is playing like this is Super Bowl 14. What a day. It is now 2nd and 10 from the 48. Anderson wants to go to the air. He's got a man, Alexander at the 40, and he's knocked down. Willie Buchanan is knocked down. Buchanan is down hurt. He's slow getting up. Number 52, Ray Preston, combining on the stop. A good block by Don Bass sprung Alexander to the outside. And it'll be a 1st down at the Charger 37-yard line. Willie Buchanan is still down on one knee, a bit slow getting up, Paul. Boy, Alexander went in there with legs churning. Next Sunday, NBC has a great day of football. First, join NFL 79 as they examine the knee injury, followed by the Jets versus Walter Payton and the explosive Chicago Bears. or see the Miami Dolphins defense challenge Brian Sipe and the Cleveland Browns. Then it's the long-awaited Steelers-Chargers clash from San Diego Stadium. Check local listings for the game in your area. And Willie Buchanan is being helped off the field. And while we have a minute, Paul, let's talk a little bit about the man behind this San Diego Charger defensive line, a guy that you're familiar with from Buffalo, Jerry Smith.
He's done a super job with him.
Coming up next, New England at Denver. What a shootout that's going to be at Mile High Stadium. Jerry Smith is the man that makes this defensive line work.
When he was with Buffalo and I played under Jerry Smith, he had the offensive line.
He's a man, jack of all trades. First and 10, the ball at the 38. Anderson to give to Archie Griffin. He gets it across the 35-yard line. He's tripped by Jerome Dove and finally brought down on the outside. Anderson thus far on the day, 7 out of 18, he's kind of abandoned the passing game.
He really has. Bob Horn, number 55, is the man that really makes the stop on him and trips him up. It's a good play by the middle linebacker, but Griffin does pick up 5 yards on the play.
Couple of scores for you. Houston now beginning to step it out in front of the Oakland Raiders, 28-14. Pittsburgh over Kansas City in the third period, 20-3. It is 2nd and 5. The ball at the 33. In motion is Isaac Curtis. Anderson with a long count. He's going to go right back up top. Got a man, and the ball is caught. The ball is caught at the 29-yard line. It is Isaac Curtis. He already has 4 touchdowns coming into today's game 3, where last week in Baltimore.
Glenn Edwards was covering him along with Woodrow Lowe, but Anderson puts this ball right on the money. Look at this pass to Isaac Curtis, and he gets hit, popped as soon as he catches the football. Good play by the offensive receiver.
Now, Kenny Anderson has not experienced the greatest success in the world throwing the football. 7 out of 18 for 81 yards. He has yet to throw an interception. He completes that one. It is now 3rd and inches at the 27-yard line. He's going to throw for it. He goes long. He's got Curtis. I can't believe how wide open Isaac Curtis was. The only man back with him was Glenn Edwards, and all he saw was the back of his jersey. Checking around the league, a few more scores coming your way. Detroit over Tampa Bay in the third period, 14-6. It is Baltimore trailing Miami 16-3. And Buffalo leads the New York Jets in the fourth period, 14-6. Second period score, Washington over the St. Louis Cardinals, 17-7. And it is Seattle still out in front of Cleveland in the third period at Cleveland, 16-10. Here at Riverfront, it is 16-14 Chargers. 2:01 to play in the third period. The give is to Charles Alexander, and I believe he got the first down.
He had to get to the 28-yard line.
It's going to be very, very close. Don Bass, the wide receiver for the Bengals, is signifying they made it. However, the officials are not so sure.
I think he makes it by half the football.
Now we'll find out just how right you are. Ball spotted down between the 27 and 28. You are wrong. He made it by the whole football. Not bad, Paul. Here's an update for you. Cleveland has taken the lead over the Seattle Seahawks for the first time today. It is now the Browns 17, the Seahawks 16 in the third quarter. It is now 1st and 10 here at Riverfront Stadium. The ball at the 28-yard line. Ball at the 27-yard line. The pitch comes to the near side. Archie Griffin. He'll gain a couple on the near side. He's finally stopped by Ray Preston. This word in from Houston. Earl Campbell has just rushed for 1,000 yards this season in Houston. Buffalo leading the Jets now 14-12. Earl Campbell keeps on going and going and going.
I did the game here against Cincinnati, and what a day he had. He had 150-some yards here. He's just a super football player, and it's tough to bring him down. He's one of the all-time great runners in the game.
Tremendous upper body strength. It is now 2nd and 6. Anderson will pass. He wants to go long. Now he's chased out of the pocket. He'll run the football. He is inside the 15-yard line before taking a dive just under the tackle of Glenn Edwards.
He was going to dump the football out to his left, and he sees that everybody is covered. He did the smart thing. He tucked the ball away and ran with it. Look at here. Everybody's rushing. The linebackers are dropped way off. And he picks up the first down. He's at a 12-yard line. Take a look at Anderson. Very smart heads-up play.
The defensive line, I think, Paul saw. He wanted to go to the outside. They commenced to rush around the right and left sides. Left the middle wide open. Anderson picks up yardage. 1st and 10. This time to Pete Johnson. Johnson still on his feet. He's still on his feet and finally knocked down, and we've got a flag. Johnson is buried at the 8-yard line. He picks up 4. It'll be 2nd down and 6. Glenn Edwards on the stop. Look at this.
This is a powerful runner. The big fullback.
It is a face mask. There you see it right there.
Excellent pictures. There's the face mask. Fuller, number 42, is the man that grabbed him.
The man bringing us these pictures today, all the camera shots, director in the truck, Jim Holmes. Jimmy's done a fine job. And they'll now move the football inside the 5-yard line. Cincinnati, a tremendous opportunity. They missed one earlier today against Cleveland, Paul. They had a 99-yard drive stopped on the 1.
They can't come away with just 3 points here. They have to get the 7.
Into the ball game, Pete Johnson and Charles Alexander. Wide to the near side is Steve Kreider. The give is to Johnson right up the middle, and he will be stopped short of the goal line. And we have just seen the end of the 3rd period. The Cincinnati Bengals marching on the San Diego Chargers. After 3 periods of play from Riverfront Stadium, San Diego still on top, 16-14. Phil Stone along with Paul McGuire coming to you from Riverfront Stadium. We are just beginning the 4th period of play. The Cincinnati Bengals trailing San Diego 16-14. They have the ball, though, 2nd and goal at the 2. The Bengals with 3 running backs, Johnson, Alexander, and Deacon Turner. 2 tight ends. The give is to Johnson. He scores!
The key to this is the continuous effort of Pete Johnson. He doesn't let his legs stop moving. He is stopped right at the line of scrimmage. He keeps turning. Watch his legs drive. He just continues on through for the touchdown. Excellent effort.
And the man running interference for him, Paul, was the rookie. Watch number 40. He really blows out number 68, Leroy Jones, allowing Pete Johnson all the room he needed to score. Chris Barr in for the extra point now. Kreider will hold. It is down. It is up. And it is good, and we have a flag. And I believe it is against San Diego. Referee's talking it over now. Pete Johnson, I'll tell you, when you're down inside, hold on, let's get the officials' call.
Personal foul, leverage, number 57, defense, extra point is good, to be penalized on the succeeding kickoff.
Keith King called for the penalty, so now the Bengals will be able to kick the ball off from the 40-yard line. 4th quarter. 14:57 to play. It is now Bengals 21, Chargers 16. There you see Don Coryell. His Chargers trail here at Riverfront Stadium 21-16. The Bengals, as a result of Keith King's leverage penalty, will now kick off from the midfield stripe. Chris Barr puts his foot into it, and this one is going to go out of the end zone. And the Chargers will now start from their own 20-yard line. They trail by 5, 14:50 to go here in the football game.
What's a leverage call?
Leverage call. I have never heard it called before, Paul. I would guess a leverage call is when Keith King was trying to perhaps jump up on somebody's back to block the extra point. There you see the drive by the Bengals, 11 plays, 48 yards, elapsed time 4 minutes, 21 seconds. The score coming on a 2-yard run by the Ohio State running back, Pete Johnson. The Chargers from their own 20 have to get on the board. Fouts knows it and goes to the air. He's got Bo Matthews. Matthews will not even get back to the line of scrimmage. The man stopping him was Marvin Cobb, and again, I believe if San Diego is going to be successful, Paul, they're going to have to throw downfield.
They've got to throw in the middle of the field right here. This is the way to cover a back coming out of the backfield.
11, let's go.
Number 21, Jim Browner, is the guy that makes the stop on Bo Matthews.
And I called it Marvin Cobb. My apologies to the Browner family. It is now 2nd down and 11 at the 19, and Fouts takes his drop. Plenty of time. Now he throws it up for grabs. Joyner tries to get to it, and he's blocked. And the flag goes down. A good call by the officials. He was blocked from getting to the football. Reggie Williams and Ray Griffin were in his way.
Ray Griffin pushes him from behind, and I think that's going to be the call.
And don't you know, whenever defensive backs are called for pass interference, what they're saying, I didn't do it, I didn't touch him.
You know, that was actually a bad pass. He threw into double coverage. He really had no place to go. He had great protection that time and no place to go, and threw the ball into double coverage. He was lucky to get away with that pass play.
That is a first down for the Chargers at the 40-yard line. A fumble. Bo Matthews misses the football on the exchange, but comes up with it again. San Diego retains possession. Actually gained a yard on the play. It'll be 2nd and 9 at the 41.
He never does get possession of the football right here. You're going to see Bo Matthews trying to take the handoff, and the ball is a little bit low, but he makes a heads-up play by recovering the ball and does pick up a yard.
It could have been very, very costly for San Diego had they lost the football. They are trailing by 5. It is 21-16. 13:27 to play in the game. Fouts with a full house backfield. Drops straight back. Comes across to his Bo Matthews. And we've got a flag down as Matthews makes the catch at the 47-yard line. He is stopped by Reggie Williams and Jim LeClaire.
It's going to be against Cincinnati, and I think it was holding.
Indeed, it is against the Cincinnati Bengals. And that'll take the ball into Bengal territory. The officials talking over. Eddie Edwards is standing right in there. He wants to know what's going on. Dan Fouts comes in to check, make sure things are going all right. And Homer Rice isn't too concerned about it. He'll just get the game on with. His club's leading. Does he care?
Nice coat.
Nice coat.
It's a personal foul, 15-yard penalty. Wasn't holding.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, number 57, defense.
Reggie Williams, a man who was not even supposed to play in this game today, has been called for unnecessary roughness. The Chargers, 1st and 10 at the Cincinnati 37. Fouts gives to Matthews, tries the left side, gets through the initial wall, and he's finally tackled on the left side. He's brought down by Reggie Williams. Here's some scores for you. Houston still out in front of Oakland in the 3rd period, 28-14. Pittsburgh beginning to stretch it out over Kansas City, 23-3 in the 4th quarter. Detroit over Tampa Bay, somewhat of a surprise in the 3rd period. And Miami laying it on the Baltimore Colts, 19-0, 4th period action. Buffalo still leading the Jets 14-12 in the 4th quarter. 2nd down, 3 yards to go for the Chargers at the Bengals 30. They'll give us to Bo Matthews. He's got running room. A first down. We have a flag down. Reggie Williams on the stop. Reggie Williams has been playing a fine football game from his right linebacker position.
And there's a holding penalty on number 56, Bob Rush. I'll tell you, this is an excellent running play. This Bo Matthews, we talked about him at halftime off the air, and you said what a powerful runner this guy is, and he can really pick him up. He's got a lot of strength, a lot of upper body strength, and he does a good job, but it's all for naught because I think number 56, Bob Rush, the center, was called for holding.
That'll move the ball back outside the 40-yard line. Let's get the referee's call.
Holding, number 56, offense.
Right you are, Paul. It is Bob Rush, number 56, called. That moves the ball back outside the 40-yard line. It is now 2nd down and 12 at the 40. Dan Fouts needs to put the Chargers on the board, and he knows it. He drops straight back all the time in the world. He puts the ball up. The ball is intended for Mike Thomas, and he is really nailed by Reggie Williams again.
Fouts is complaining that it's an unnecessary hit. But I'll tell you right now, Reggie Williams is fired up, and so is this Bengal defense. Watch what happens here right at the end of the play. He's not playing the ball. He's playing the runner and the pass receiver like he's supposed to, and it was just a good shot.
No question about it. A blindside hit, and Mike Thomas went sailing. There's one for you. The final is in, the first final of the day. Buffalo defeats the New York Jets. A fourth period score. Seattle back on top of Cleveland. What a seesaw affair in the fourth period. And as you see, Don Coryell, look at him. He wants this one. 3rd and 12. Fouts to pass. Steps up into the pocket. Unloads his receiver. Went down, and it's intercepted. Dick Geron with the interception. John Jefferson is really upset. He slips on this wet artificial turf. Dick Geron stepped right up. Number 30 picks it off for Dan Fouts, his 4th interception of the afternoon. Minutes, 18 seconds to play. The Bengals have the football again. They have the lead. It is 21-16 Bengals. There's a happy Dick Geron, the man who just picked off Dan Fouts' 4th interception of the day. It has given Cincinnati the football at their own 32.
And in this second half, Cincinnati's put a little bit more heat on Fouts. What happened is John Jefferson fell down, and the ball went right into the hands of Dick Geron.
Now, Fouts has had his problems today, Paul McGuire. 4 interceptions, his 14th, 15th, 16th, and 17th interceptions on the year. Here come the Bengals. They own the lead, 12-17 to play. The give is right up the middle. Pete Johnson to the 40-yard line, a pickup of about 8 yards. Now, that is plain bull running. Bob Horn on the stop. Fourth quarter score, Washington over the Cardinals, 27-17. Look at this one. Los Angeles beginning now to step it out over the Bears in Chicago, 16-7, second quarter. Also a second period score. New Orleans over San Francisco, 24-3. Second down, 2 yards to go. The Bengals with the lead have the ball at their own 40 out of the I formation. The give is right up the middle. Again, it is Pete Johnson. Cincinnati has a first down.
What's happening here at the defensive line? Look at Green Bay 13, Minnesota nothing in the second quarter. What's happening is the defensive line of San Diego, they're starting to catch the offensive line instead of delivering the blow, and they're beating San Diego's defense to the punch. The linemen have got to take them on one-on-one and block the holes so the linebackers can make the play.
Now, Kenny Anderson, you can be sure, would like to keep the football on the ground if he can afford to do so. And right now, he can. Cincinnati leads at 21-16, 11:04 to play. In motion, Isaac Curtis Anderson is going to pass it to Archie Griffin. He's got it. He's to the 45, the 48 before being stopped just shy of midfield. And the man delivering the blow is the left side linebacker, Ray Preston, the 4-year man out of Syracuse.
Boy, the man that makes this possible, though, is number 55, Bob Horn. He takes on the blockers, the front wall of the screen, and enables Preston to get out to the outside. You see they let the defensive line in, but watch 55. He just knocks off the whole wall and leaves Griffin out there all by himself for Preston to make the tackle. Good play.
Alexander and Pete Johnson in the backfield. The give is to Alexander. He tries sweeping the right side. The man that clogs it up initially is Bob Horn, but Alexander was not about to go down. What a continuous effort by Charles Alexander.
You can't arm tackle these people. You have to put the shoulder in and bring him down. Now, Horn is in there. Preston's in there. It just doesn't wrap his arms around him. Charles Alexander, continuous effort, picks up the first down. Good running play.
Alexander averaging just about 3.5 yards per carry coming into today's game. Only has 1 touchdown. He has seen some duty this afternoon. 1st and 10, the ball at the Charger 45. The give is to the first man through. That is Pete Johnson, and they are starting to tear away yardage now, Paul. Bob Horn brings him down. Horn is playing his heart out here this afternoon, but he's not getting much help on the run.
No, here he is now. He's moving in position. And watch watch this. He gets blocked right here, but he stops the play a little bit. Now he needs help from the other people, and they're not getting there in a hurry. Woody Lowe finally gets in on the play.
Now there's Bobby Horn. He's having a good afternoon here in Cincinnati. Unfortunately, his Chargers are not having such a great afternoon. Look here, the Oilers now over Oakland in the fourth period, 31-17. From the I formation, Kenny Anderson. The pitch is to Alexander. He's to the 40. Inside the 45-yard line. And he is knocked down again by the man we just talked about. A middle linebacker, number 55, is Bob Horn.
All right, let's take another look at him. This is what the guy does so well.
This is Phil Stone and Paul McGuire coming to you from Riverfront Stadium, where the Cincinnati Bengals are trying to pull off one heck of an upset. They lead the San Diego Chargers 21-16 here in the fourth period. And Cincinnati is moving the football from the 35. It is Alexander across the 35, near the 30. He is still on his feet.
Super balance, Charles Alexander. There's the score, 21-16, the Bengals over San Diego. But they are really blowing San Diego right off the line of scrimmage. And watch what's happening. Again, we're talking about arm tackling. The blocking at the point of attack is sensational. Watch the balance of Charles Alexander. You've got to wrap your arms around him. You can't knock him off his feet like that. The man spins and it picks up another 4 yards. Good play.
Jerome Dove was the man who tried to put the hip into him. He just spun off of it. Here we go again. It is Archie Griffin inside the 25, near the 20. Archie Griffin, a great afternoon. Again, it is Bob Horn. Archie Griffin, the only man to ever win 2 Heisman trophies. And he's only 5 feet 8, 184 pounds, Paul.
But look at the blocking up front. Everybody gets a man. Everybody has somebody knocked down. Horn is way downfield, picks up 9 yards on the play. It's just a little bit too late.
Kenny Anderson, the Bengals shift out of the full house to the I, to Pete Johnson. He gets about a yard, maybe 2. Gary Big Hands Johnson closing it up quickly. And it is a first down at the 18-yard line. Pittsburgh way out in front of the Kansas City Chiefs, 30-3, fourth period action. Don Coryell starting to look a little worried, and rightly he should be.
He has to, because Cincinnati took this ball with 11 minutes and some odd seconds to go, and it's now 6.5 minutes to go, and they're running the football and the clock.
Split out wide to the right is Isaac Curtis, to the near side is Don Bass. The handoff again to Pete Johnson, a fumble. I believe the Bengals have covered it, and they have. The Bengals cover the football. It is Mark Donahue, the right guard, pouncing on the ball, the second-year man out of Michigan. Look at this line action, Paul.
All right, here's where now San Diego meets them right at the line of scrimmage, and they have a stalemate right here. The ball is popped loose, and again, Mr. Horn is the guy that hits him, number 55. But San Diego can't come up with a fumble.
There's Homer Rice on the near sideline. It is now second down and 11. The ball on the 18-yard line. A clock ticking, 5:37 to play. Cincinnati has the lead. The pitch is to Archie Griffin. He tries to get out around the right side. Cannot do it. The big man, Leroy Jones, the defensive end, wrestles Griffin down by his jersey. To show you the strength Jones has, Paul, he took him down by just his jersey and flung him to the ground.
Not only the strength, but the speed. That's a quick toss to the outside, and the defensive end gets out there and makes the play.
Leroy Jones in his 4th year out of Norfolk State. It is Cincinnati 21, the Chargers 16, with 5 minutes, 30 seconds to play in this ball game. From the 20, it is 3rd and 11, Bengals. The give this time, right up the middle, it is Pete Johnson. He's got running room inside the 15 to the 12. And the man on the stop is Glenn Edwards.
Stoney, Cincinnati's not doing anything fancy. All they're doing is running the football straight at San Diego, and they're running at the big people in the middle, Johnson and Wilbur Young. Glenn Edwards here saves a touchdown.
Pete Johnson, 19 rushes today, 53 yards. He already has 2 touchdowns. Cincinnati now faced with 4th and 2 just inside the 11-yard line.
This is an all-important field goal because this puts them out ahead by 8 points.
Chris Barr. The ball will be put down at the 18 to 28-yard attempt. An important one. The ball is up. It is good. And so the Bengals widen their lead right now to 7 points. 8 points, I should say. Cincinnati 24, San Diego 16. You don't think it's cold here in Cincinnati? The temperature 35 degrees and it's falling. This is Phil Stone along with Paul McGuire. And we've got a dandy for you from Riverfront, where the Bengals lead the heavily favored Chargers 24 to 16. Chris Barr puts his foot into the football, and it'll be Artie Owens at the 6. He's to the 10. They're going to reverse it to Don Woods. He's up to the 15, the 20, and he's wrestled down. It didn't fool anybody. He makes it to the 23-yard line, and it is the rookie, Jim Browner, tackling him. And so San Diego will start now from their own 23-yard line. Look at it again, Paul.
All right, this is number 50. Is that 52 Dinkle?
Yes, it is. Dinkle.
They sent Dinkle the other way. That a super smash. They had to reverse, and Browner, number 21, stays to the outside, does his job as a safety, and brings him down.
And now the crowd comes alive as they sense a possible upset. 4:20 to play. San Diego trails by 8. Fouts goes to the air to Clarence Williams. He's got the football at the 33-yard line. A pickup of 9 is stopped by Tom Rudd, the 5-year man out of Nebraska, and Jim LeClaire. And they're calling it a first down. Seattle has now gone out in front of Cleveland 29 to 17 in a game that was a seesaw affair. That one now in the 4th period. Dinkle is now out of the game after that shot. Tom Rudd is in. Bouts to the air on first down. He's got a man. It is Mike Thomas. He goes out of bounds. Another San Diego first down. Reggie Williams is behind Mike Thomas and chases him out.
We saw Fouts last week take this team and move him down against Kansas City when it looked like Kansas City was going to close in on him, and he's a drive just like this one. 2 good pass plays. The ball's on target. He gets his man Thomas out of bounds, first down, and he's doing what he has to do, save the clock.
The Bengals, Paul, are doing it the same way they did it against Pittsburgh and Philadelphia, taking advantage of turnovers and miscues. First down, the ball on the 45. Fouts drops the pass. Look at this, all the time he needs. Unloads over the middle, and nobody's there. Either Fouts misread the pattern or Bob Klein ran the wrong pattern. It's the only receiver he had to go to. Everybody else was covered.
All right, Cobb is on Jefferson short. He's going to have, I think, some help deep. And he threw the ball over the head of Klein. What happened is Klein went down about 17 yards and turned up. And I think Fouts thought he was going to go forward with it, and he didn't.
3rd period score from Soldier Field. Los Angeles over Chicago, 23 to 14. 2nd and 10. The ball now at the 46. Fouts drops all the time he needs. Charlie Joyner is wide open, and he juggles it out of bounds. The referee says it's complete. And now they're overruling him. It is not complete. Wait just a minute, Paul.
If they give them this ball, this is a bad call. Because Charlie Joyner did not have the ball when he went out of bounds. And the Bengals and the fans have a right to be upset. All right, here's the protection again. Now he's starting to get some protection. But watch right here at the end of the play. Joyner does not have possession of the football. He's bobbling the ball as he runs out of bounds. You can see it right there. It is not a first down, but they give it to him anyway.
The official on the near side was watching his feet, and he did not see his hands juggling the football. It is a first down for San Diego. Fouts, look at this time. He locks it. And Thomas almost had the ball. He did not get to it. Jim LeClaire, tremendous defense. Mike Thomas is trying to claim LeClaire obstructed him. The referee did not see it that way. It was a good call, but there was no call.
Tony, that was super coverage by the middle linebacker. LeClaire on the back coming out of the backfield. He had him one-on-one. Tough coverage and stayed with him and knocked the ball away.
That sets the Chargers now with a 2nd and 10 at the 31.
All right, here's the one to Joyner again. Watch the ball. The official right there is looking at his feet and not at the ball.
2nd and 10 at the 31. The Chargers with 3 wide receivers. Dan back to pass. Unloads on a crossing pattern. Joyner cannot hold it. What a play by Dick Geron, Paul. Joyner had the football. Geron stripped them of it. And instead of 6 points and the Chargers trailing by 2, it is now 3rd and 10 at the 32.
I'll tell you, that was a super pass play, a good route. The ball was thrown the only place it could be caught, but the defender made an excellent play on Joyner.
Look at this one. Miami buried the Baltimore Colts today, 19-0. There you see Don Coryell on the near sideline. The Bengals now on 3rd and 10 have employed the nickel defense, 5 defensive backs. The Chargers counter with 3 wide receivers. Fouts all the time he needs. Throws over the middle to Artie Owens. Touchdown, San Diego. And the man he got behind was the right side linebacker, Reggie Williams.
You know, this is really extremely tough coverage for a linebacker. We've been saying it all day. LeClaire covered Thomas a little while ago, but look at number 57. He's got to cover Artie Owens. There's just no match as far as the speed is concerned. The ball was perfectly thrown over the shoulders of the linebacker into Artie Owens' hands. Touchdown. Look at this play. Faust couldn't have thrown the ball any better. Perfect pass. Picked out the right man, had him one-on-one on the linebacker. Touchdown.
And for Artie Owens, that's his first TD of 1979. And don't you know he loved that one. The Chargers now 3:13 to play in the game. They trail by 2. Mike Wood will try to cut the margin to 1. The snap. The ball is down. It is up. Perfect.
You know what the flag is for? Number 63 comes into the football game from the bench and did not report.
That's Doug Wilkerson, and right you are, Paul. The officials calling Doug for illegal procedure.
Well, see, he has to report because he's the end man on the line of scrimmage.
Just before the snap, Mike Wood sensed something was wrong. He wanted to call a timeout just before the ball went down, but he could not get the officials' attention or any of his teammates' attention. Hence, there is an illegal procedure call, and they'll place it down again, this time from about the 19 or 20.
What happened was Doug Wilkerson made a heads-up play by going in the football game. They did not have enough men on the field. We'll hear it.
Illegal formation. Number 63 did not report into the game.
See, Stoney, what happens is he saw that there were only 10 men on the field. He did a heads-up thing from the bench, but he has to report he's normally not in the field goal or extra point team at the end of the line.
Here's the snap. It's down, it is up, and it is right on. And so the Chargers have come back with 3 minutes, 13 seconds to play in this ball game. It is the Bengals 24, the San Diego Chargers 23. And we'll be right back with more football from Riverfront. Both teams have 3 timeouts remaining on the scoreboard, and that could be very, very critical. The Bengals lead the Chargers 24-23 as Mike Wood is set to kick the ball off to the Cincinnati Bengals. Back deep, Vaughn Lusby and Jim Browner. What a ball game we've brought you from Riverfront Stadium along our network lines. It has had it all. Receiving it on the near side, it is Vaughn Lusby at the 10, the 15. He comes to the sideline. He'll go out of bounds. What a hit at the 25-yard line by number 44, Jerome Dove. And I guarantee if Dove would have missed him, Hank Bauer would have been right on him. Check it. That was 44, Pete Shaw. And so the Bengals will now have the football at their own 26-yard line. They have the lead 24-23. Don't forget, NBC brings 2 spectacular suspense movies to television for the first time tonight. Al Pacino stars in an unforgettable role in Dog Day Afternoon. And tomorrow night, Gregory Peck and Lee Remick star in the thriller The Omen. Dog Day Afternoon tonight, The Omen tomorrow, both on NBC. From the 25, Ken Anderson out of the eye. The pitch goes to Archie Griffin. Uh-oh, he's in trouble. He tries to cut back inside now. He finds a little running room. The 5 before finally being swarmed under. Jerome Dove is the man who stopped him. A gain of about 3 yards, and it looked like for a moment as if Archie Griffin would never find daylight again.
Well, that was just a case of over pursuit by the defense. Watch what happens here. The whole defense, they're playing this sweep extremely well. Leroy Jones is already out there. He slips down on that wet surface, but everybody over pursuit. Archie Griffin cuts back against the grain and picks up 3 yards. A good play by him.
Out of the I formation, it is now 2nd and 8 for the Cincinnati Bengals. The give is to Johnson. He makes the ball right across the 30-yard line. Don't forget, coming up right after we leave you, from Mile High Stadium, the New England Patriots, 7-3, take on the Denver Broncos, also 7-3. And that one is going to be one heck of a football game.
Stoney, this is an excellent timeout by the San Diego Chargers. Reason being, there's 2 minutes and 11 seconds. They take the timeout here. It's 3rd down and 5. If they hold Cincinnati, they'll go to the 2-minute warning. They'll get a free timeout, which saves them there. Then they get the ball back with 2 timeouts in the game.
We pause briefly for station identification. This is the NBC television network.
KNBC, Los Angeles.
But the key to the whole thing is they have to hold them on 3rd down.
No question about it. And the Chargers, who really have capitalized on other people's mistakes today, have not been able to do so. The score right there, the Bengals 24, San Diego 23, and there you see Don Coryell talking to middle linebacker Bob Horn, who has had a sensational day.
He's had a busy afternoon, I'll tell you that.
And I also want to thank Peter Rolfe. He is producing his first game for NBC today. Peter, you have done a sensational job here at Riverfront Stadium. Paul and I thank you. 3rd down, 5 yards to go. The ball resting at the 31-yard line. 2:11 to play. Cincinnati owns the football and the lead. Kenny Anderson with a full house backfield. Split wide to the near side is Don Bass. The give right up the middle. It is Pete Johnson. And Freddie Dean grabs a hold of his jersey and wants to rip his clothes off of him. And again, the Chargers want a timeout with 2:02 to play. Johnson actually lost a couple of yards, Paul.
Yeah, I don't understand this timeout. I really don't, because they're going to go to 2 minutes and get another one anyway. There's only 2 seconds left to go. The guy that makes the play is number 51, Woody Lowe. He comes in, just buries the blocker, and takes Pete Johnson, which no one's been able to do all day, and hold him to no gain at all.
I don't think that timeout was designed by the bench. Don Coryell, I watched him. He did not look like a happy man when he saw his team call the timeout. However, it does go in the books as one. The Chargers will have only one left.
They had no reason to call a timeout. They were excited. I can understand that, but they only have 2 more seconds to go before the 2-minute warning, and they wasted it. But they're going to get the football back, and that's all they really care about.
I want to thank our spotters today on the booth, Mike Leonard and Bill Swarsburg, our statistician, Dr. John Dowd. Thank you, gentlemen. Don't forget, next Sunday, NBC has a great day of football. First, join NFL 79 as they examine the knee injury, followed by the Jets versus Walter Payton and the explosive Chicago Bears, or see the Miami Dolphins defense challenge Brian Sipe and the Cleveland Browns. Then it's the long-awaited Steelers-Chargers clash. Check your local listings for the game in your area. Well, San Diego will get the ball one last time. It is 4th and 6. Back to punt is Pat McInally. To receive at his own 30-yard line is Mike Fuller. 2:02 to play, and McInally puts his foot into the ball. A bad kick. He shanked it. The ball bounces clear, and it's picked up. It is picked up by San Diego, and he is knocked down immediately. The man with the ball is Don Good. A terrible punt at the most inopportune time for Cincinnati.
He's had such a bad day.
Pat McInally, it has not been a good Sunday for him here in Cincinnati. With 1:50 to play, the Bengals lead the Chargers, who have the football, 24-23.
Watch McInally's reaction on this play. He knows he has a bad kick as soon as he hits it. Watch his head. Look at here. Give me that back.
Well, he has every reason to hang his head. It was a 19-yard punt. Pat McInally in the top 5 in the NFL in punting average, better than 43 yards. And the Cincinnati Bengals did not need that to happen at this juncture. For the San Diego Chargers, a tremendous opportunity. A minute 50 to play. The ball just shy of the midfield stripe. Cincinnati has a 1-point lead. What a football game. Fouts on first down, drops. He throws it up for grabs. Charlie, I should say, John Jefferson tried to get to it. Marvin Cobb was fronting him, and he could not get back to the football. It was Jim Browner and Marvin Cobb in the area.
Stoney, when they're doubling up the two wide receivers like they're doing right now, the back's coming out of the backfield. That's how he got his last touchdown. Give it to him. They're going to give you that. They're covering him with linebackers.
John Jefferson, the intended receiver. And, Paul, you have to wonder, he's out of Arizona State. You've got to wonder how Arizona State and Frank Kush ever got Jefferson out of Dallas, Texas. Stole him. It is John Floyd and Jefferson, the wide receivers. Fouts drops on 2nd and 10. He unloads a post pattern to Joyner. No, incomplete. Jim Browner back to defend on it, along with Scott Burke and Dick Geron. Charlie Joyner just running straight downfield. The old fly pattern down the center of the field. Couldn't quite get to it. That brings up a 3rd and 10 opportunity. And right now, Paul, San Diego has to be concerned with just getting the first down and getting the ball perhaps into field goal range.
And I just watched again, both backs coming out of the backfield were both covered by linebackers. Mike Thomas and Clarence Williams are being covered by backers.
And this crowd comes alive. 3rd and 10. The ball at the 49. This is a must play. Fouts is going to be buried. I'll tell you what, you won't find a more inspired defense than we've found here as Don Coryell with a very strained look on his face. It is now 4th and 10. Gary Burley and Eddie Edwards were all over Dan Fouts.
Stoney, it's 4th and 20, and they're going to go for it.
Well, you can bet the Cincinnati Bengals will employ the umbrella defense here. A minute, 11 to play. The clock is running. This is do or die for the Chargers. 4th and 20, the ball at the 40. Fouts throws to the near side. It is Joyner. He's got a first down. Inside the 30-yard line, Charlie Joyner. There are no flags down. San Diego. Oh, the big play when they needed it. Jim Browner forces them out of bounds. What a call.
Look at the poise of this man. Now watch Fouts. He's got excellent protection. They clean out in the middle. Charlie Joyner goes back to the outside. Not only does he catch the football, he picks up the first down inside the 30-yard line, but he gets out of bounds and stops the clock with 56 seconds left to go. They still have one timeout, and now they're in field goal range.
Oh, what a football game. Fouts 20 of 38, 282 yards. To the near side is John Floyd. To the far side, Joyner and Jefferson. 1st and 10, 56 seconds to play. Fouts wants to throw again. He'll do so. He's got Joyner, and he's down by Dick Geron at the 15. The clock continues to roll. 45, 44, 43.
All they have to do is take their time. They have 40 seconds to go. They have one timeout. Just don't rush it and throw it away. You're in field goal range right now for the win.
1st and 10, the ball at the 15. Dan wants to throw. He throws to the sideline. He's got a receiver who is out of bounds. They say no catch. It was a good call. John Jefferson was out of bounds.
Tempers are flaring. Temper.
Now the Chargers sensing on the far sideline that they may have a victory within sight now as Fouts will look at it again.
All right, take a look at Fouts right here. He waits. He really is going to throw the ball away. John Jefferson catches the football, but he doesn't get his right foot in bounds. It's a good call by the official. All right, look at it right here. You see Jefferson? Now watch his right leg. It does not come down in bounds. Good call by the official.
When you've got the ball in field goal range, and the fact that Fouts has been intercepted 4 times already today, I'm a little bit surprised they're being so wide open with their offense, Bob, but they're doing it anyway. It is now 2nd and 10. The ball on the 15, 29 seconds to play. Fouts on the draw to Clarence Williams. No place to go. Maybe a pickup of a yard. Gary Burley on the stop, and Reggie Williams. What a ball game from Riverfront Stadium. 24 seconds to play. Cincinnati 24, the Chargers 23, and they're threatening. The Chargers trail in this ball game 24-23. 24 seconds to play. It is 3rd and 9 at the 14, and they're going to try for the field goal right now. Mike Wood 3 for 3 on the day. The snap, the ball is down, the kick is up. It is good. San Diego has taken a 26-24 lead, and look at this Charger team.
That was a beautiful drive. That really was a super drive. That 4th down and 20 play by Fouts to Joyner was just sensational. It was a work of art. What happened is John Jefferson went across the middle, took out 2 defenders. Charlie Joyner broke to the outside, was wide open. Fouts hit him. They picked up the 1st down. They got in field goal range, and then Wood did his job. Look at this. This is beautiful.
Mike Wood 4 out of 4 today as he hooks it right in over the upright. A beautiful kick, and as you can see in the background, they are ecstatic. It is 26-24 San Diego. And this, Paul, really coming in, the Chargers figured this was a must-win because they have the Steelers next Sunday in San Diego.
And the big thing, too, with Houston beating Oakland so badly today, I don't know if that game, we haven't got word that game's over with yet. But this is really going to push them out, and Denver has a job ahead of them this afternoon against New England.
What a game that's going to be. The Patriots and the Broncos from Mile High Stadium in Denver, and you'll see that game coming up as soon as we leave you from Riverfront Stadium. There are 19 seconds to play. The Chargers have just gone in front of the Cincinnati Bengals. What a ball game. 26-24. Cincinnati still has their 3 timeouts. Mike Wood will be kicking the ball with the wind at his back, and the wind has kicked up a bit here in Cincinnati. The clouds have broken a bit. It is cold. When we began the game, it was 33 degrees. At halftime, it had climbed to 35, and I've got to tell you, it is chillier than 35 degrees right now. Mike Wood awaits the referee's whistle. He has it, and we are underway. 19 seconds to play. A long end-over-end kick. It is David Deacon Turner at the 4. To the 15, he cuts to the outside. He just wants to get out of bounds. And he's chased out by Glenn Edwards. And that's where Cincinnati will take possession at their own 17-yard line. And Kenny Anderson really has his job cut out for him now.
With 3 timeouts, how many plays do you think you can run in 14 seconds?
5.
If he uses it right, he can.
Well, we'll wait and see. You can bet the Cincinnati Bengals will employ 3 wide receivers for the final 14 seconds.
And here's where the 4 front men, those big guys, can just tee off and go because they know there's not going to be any gadgets or tricks. He's got to go back and throw the football.
The only setback in the Cincinnati backfield is Pete Johnson. There's the snap. Kenny Anderson looking, can't find anybody. He's going to have to run it, and this will take precious time. He is finally swarmed under by Wilbur Young. 3 seconds, and the clock is stopped, and Kenny is on the ground. He is hurt.
He picks up the 1st down, a very costly one because of the time factor. Fred Dean was offside, number 71 for San Diego. They'll refuse the penalty, but the big problem here is that they only have 3 seconds, and Kenny Anderson's on the ground.
Well, as we talked at the top of the show, Paul, as Kenny Anderson goes, so go the Cincinnati Bengals for the most part. They have not had to use Jack Thompson much, but we may get a look at him now.
All right, Kenny Anderson goes back in the pocket. The blocking is not bad. He's got everybody to the outside. He steps up. Here is when he should have stopped and thrown the football, but he continues to run with it. And big Wilbur Young fell on him.
Mike Williams almost leveled the blow. However, Kenny got in under Mike Williams. Here's the throw in Samoan out of Washington State. Jack Thompson, he's a rookie, 6'3", 217. He's only completed 22 of 50 attempts. He has not thrown a touchdown yet. With 3 seconds to go, don't you know he'd love to throw the first one here?
Right now, this is the last play, barring any penalties.
There's Kenny Anderson at the 30-yard line. They're looking him over, and at least he's on his feet, and I got to believe in this situation he wants to play the football game. Homer Rice. I had a chance to talk to Homer Rice yesterday. The Bengals were out for their team picture here in the stadium, and one of the nicest guys in the coaching ranks in the NFL. Well, Jack Thompson trots back off of the field. He'll not get that opportunity. It'll be Kenny Anderson for the final play of the game. Three seconds to play. San Diego 26, Cincinnati 24.
And if I were Pete Shaw, number 44, the defensive back for San Diego, I'd go right back on about the 20-yard line and wait.
The Chargers have about 70 defensive backs back there. Everybody's about 20 yards off the line. They don't want to give up the long one. Anderson drops the pass. No time left on the clock. It is dropped by number 84, Don Bass. And this ball game is over. And once again, Cincinnati comes so close and simply cannot pull it off. That's the end of the game. The final score from Riverfront Stadium, San Diego 26, Cincinnati 24. And now stay tuned for the exciting second half of our NFL doubleheader as the New England Patriots meet the Denver Broncos right after this.